We sound like guests.
What up?
Off the mic.
Live now. There's the stream.
Pre-so nonsense.
We got one person in there, and my
It's got to be Mr. DJ or
Rick V Dub.
The other guy.
The two most loyal watchers.
we're gonna break Rick D. We're gonna break Rick V Dub.
What's he gonna get?
He's gonna come on the show.
Oh, he doesn't want him?
No.
Why not?
Remember we asked him that one night and he was like, absolutely not. We're gonna work on him this year.
So we just gonna start.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna start without them, and they'll get here when they get here. Let me just pull up my news.
Oh yeah,
Mic levels are good.
they are good.
Yeah, my earphones are good. Yeah, that was a solid.
Ugh. Felt good.
Pull this up.
No, there's no good. There's no beer in there to drink, John. I can't have a beer with you. That's swill. What is that? Breakaway blonde?
It's a blonde ale.
No.
Okay. I'm not here to pressure you. Peer pressure is wrong.
Is it though?
Yes.
Depends.
I say yes with a backward smile.
John, what are you doing?
I'm pulling up my news stories.
Also wondering where all those people my parents said were going to offer free drugs when I was a kid. Where are those people? No expensive drugs. are.
They don't exist.
Yeah.
That was a lie.
Fucking liars.
My news stories. Minimized.
Next, you're going to tell me they put the presents under the tree. I mean, this is just nonsense.
Taking credit for Santa's work.
Fuck that fat man. The year we gave him the Xbox, I was like, no, we're done. I'm not letting that fat fuck take credit for this one.
Microphone's working.
Yes.
Yeah, not quite as good as Mark's.
No, Mark is definitely working better.
He has a better bass tone on his. We need to get
But if you
Maddie,
put it in your mouth
we need to get,
and it chokes you up for a second,
we need to get Maddie in here to fix the levels, you know. He's going to come in and wicka that shit. I want to play with the board with all the knobs that don't actually do anything. Did we start that already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like an hour ago.
No, I mean, did you hit the button because it was doing its thing?
Yeah, it's on.
Yeah, it's on.
What do you mean
live.
it's doing its thing? What's
No,
it
I
like?
was clicking around the different scenes.
Oh,
yeah.
all right.
Hello, hello. I'm John Stairs. You're listening to Topics Under the Stairs. As always, I'm joined by Ryan and Mark.
Hello there.
How we doing?
Tonight we have the dudes from Oh the Humanity coming in. It's been in the works for a while. They got a new record that's out, and we're gonna chat with them about it. So join us this evening for a lovely chat about music and more. Before we get rolling and before those guys get here, we'll do our light housekeeping and callbacks, etc. The first thing you should do is go to revivalmotoring.com. You can check out information about all the shows, us here at Topics Under the Stairs, our friends at Revival Motoring, and Luce's Fast. Hit the shop page. There's a bunch of gear in there. You can listen to the episodes right from that website. The best thing you can do is tell a friend about the shows, share it when you're listening to it, like and subscribe on whatever platform you watch or listen from. Leave a comment if you can, rate it. All that stuff matters somehow. We don't know how, but it does. And if you want to help a little more, there's a thing called Bucks for the Boys that we have, and it helps us plan and pay for things and buy replacement microphone stands and all that sort of stuff. And that's revivalmotoring.com. You can hit the shop page, or you can just go direct by doing revivalmotoring.com/B for B.
Bucks for the boys!
That's Bucks for the Boys. When you do that, you get entered in a contest that is pulled the first Wednesday of every month, and you get some custom gear that you can only win from Bucks for the Boys. It does vary from month
every month
to month. Right now, I think it might be the end of the TD's custom items, but there's some ghost leather TD's keychain and hanger items that are really cool. You can't buy them from TD's. You can't buy them from Revival. It is the collab of the century. The only way you get it is if you win it.
I did hear they were talking about someone reached out to Josh for TD's information because they were looking to buy a leather good.
If you need leather goods, you should go to see TDS Manufacturing. TD's makes all the good leather goods, wallets, keychains, pocket dump boxes, all that sort of stuff. He makes like a bunch of neat car stuff. He's starting to do car interiors at his day job now.
My wallet is still holding up very strong.
The dude's amazing.
Quality material. He is doing a special project for me.
I like special projects.
Custom job that I can't talk about yet. I will talk about it when it's finished and revealed.
Excellent. I'm looking forward
Hopefully
to hearing
the next
about
couple
that.
Weeks. Yep.
The other place you should check out, which is equally as important, is Cardinal Creative Agency. The revivalmotoring.com website that you visit was created by Cardinal Creative Agency, and they specialize in the aftermarket automotive world. But anything you or your business does that needs a website, they can help you, especially if there's e-commerce involved. That's their specialty. So you should definitely check them out. Cardinal Creative Agency. They do little bit of everything. They do amazing graphic design, photography, websites, you name it, they can make it happen. And that's their specialty, so check it out. Besides that, callbacks-wise, do we have any like network-specific callbacks? I know our friends in Luce's Fast, they're approaching racing season again, so they'll be back soon.
I think they have a show this week, then they're off, and then it's a race week.
Yeah, then it's race week, and they're back into full Voltron. I'm excited for them. I'm excited to go to the race this year.
It's in September. I'm so excited.
It's in September.
It's my birthday weekend.
Okay, so it's later in September.
Correct.
Okay, that's good.
It's my birthday's the 13th. I think it's the 10th or the.
So it's probably
right
the
around
week
that weekend.
after Roots.
It doesn't conflict with the Roots. I know that.
Okay, well that's good. You got any callbacks?
Yeah, I went ice fishing on Sunday.
Oh, you did? I didn't know that.
Mary's Pond in Rochester.
How'd it go?
Fucking waste of time.
Well, I mean, I mean,
It's nice
is it
to
a
get
waste?
out. Yeah.
you
When other people are catching fish around you, it's fucking obnoxious.
Oh, that sucks.
Then this random guy this guy fishing yelled at kids for fucking hitting their fucking hockey sticks on the ice, smashing up the ice. Like, he was a real dick about it, too.
Really?
We're fucking fishing over here. What the fuck? Cut the fuck. Like,
They're
swearing
kids.
at him. I'm like, would you say that if their parents were there? I don't believe you'd say that when their parents were there.
Did you say
Yeah,
anything?
no. If I was playing
Nah, I
hockey,
didn't
you're not
say
saying that
anything
shit
to
to me. I'll go over there and
Nah.
wrap the sticker on your fucking neck.
Nah, I didn't say
Yeah.
anything to him. No, I was already upset with the guy for catching fish, so.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, he caught fish too. What a fucking
he's
piece
a
of
double
shit.
dick.
Hey, I got a question for you.
For me, okay.
Yeah. Do you own any sweatshirts that don't have hoods?
No. Absolutely. I do own them, but I've never worn them.
This motherfucker. I see where this is going real quick.
I didn't
I
even...
love a pullover, hooded sweatshirt. I have work
Yeah.
sweatshirts that like are just like the crew neck ones, and
Yeah.
I don't even
Yeah.
wear them.
I prefer no hood because
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Oh,
'cause
my
I-
God.
with my hair I don't put a hood on most of the time.
Well,
And if it's cold, I
What do
just
you
wear a
think's
hat.
happening? What do you think's happening to that amount of gel in the hair? Nothing. That's a protective fucking head
It
now.
is.
I haven't had hair in 30 years, so it doesn't really bother
He's
me.
not worried
But
about
no,
protection.
if I'm cold, I'm wearing a hat anyway. I do wear the hood sometimes, but yeah, I have plenty of hooded sweatshirts. This is probably the first time you've ever seen me in a crew neck.
I think it is because I'm bringing it up,
Yeah.
and I'm like, holy shit!
No, I like your crew neck.
I can't remember the last time I saw someone.
Dude, the Revival embroidered crew necks were sick.
Were they?
Yeah, they're really good.
Rick V Dub, hood only. That's my man right
That's
there.
right.
He's He's a hood guy.
Non-zip hood only.
yeah.
I'm a no hood guy.
I don't mind the zip of the hood.
Yeah, I'm a no hood guy.
I don't
but
like
I
the
prefer
zip.
no hood, but
So
you can't.
for me,
I like a
zip-
zip up hoodie. Zip up hoodie.
My
Yeah.
beard gets caught in the fucking zipper. It sucks. And they do the waffly thing where they just turn into like ski jumps.
Oh, see, I like the zip because then it adds another layer of adjustment. It's like maybe I'm a little bit cold, but not quite full pullover cold. And then you can do an unzip to release the t-shirt center.
I don't have that micrometer. I'm a little more broad. It's either hood on shirt on or shirt off, like fucking one way or the other.
No, my favorite
Good
sweatshirt
argument,
of
though.
all time
Yeah.
is my American Nightmare zip up, the AN one.
Yeah, thank
That
God
is-
I gave that back to him.
Oh,
I
I
had-
was devastated when I thought I lost that.
I had one zip up that I fucking loved. It was a Burton zip up I bought. in
Rick
the-
gets it. He's a
Yeah.
zippy guy.
Yeah.
not a zip guy, but I did have the one. It was a gray Burton sweatshirt from the factory in North Conway or whatever.
Yep.
And it didn't do the cheap sweatshirt waffly thing with the zipper, and I fucking love that one. But that's the only one that's ever worked for me.
I'll tell you what the best zip up ever created was. Rick probably knows the Gang Stout GS zip up.
Oh yeah, Blake still has his.
The Gang or Die zip up was the hottest zip up
Yeah,
of the century. Really, it's the best. I wish I still had one, and it was a direct rip from the American Nightmare hoodie because it's my favorite band and my favorite hoodie. So obviously, when I made that sweatshirt, I made it look exactly like the American Nightmare hoodie, pretty much. So it just said GS instead of AN.
yeah. Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure Blake still has his.
It's the best hoodie ever. Besides that, yeah, no, I like this. This is a comfort color. This is a good sweatshirt.
No, I'm sure it's great.
It is.
I'm sure it's great.
Yeah.
Doesn't
I'll
mess your
tell you,
hair up,
I'll
that's
tell
a
you one
plus.
thing. The last few times I've seen you in a hooded sweatshirt, you haven't had the hood on. So what the fuck is it for? Decoration?
I don't know.
You're like, you know what a hood is to me? It's like the people that drive around with a roof rack for decoration. They don't put anything in it.
Is that what
Like
it
they
is?
think it's a fashion accessory. Yeah.
I mean,
you're just dragging this fucking lump of extra
There's just
fabric
some-
around for
it just-
nothing.
they fit differently than whatever the fuck you have on.
You know what the difference is? It's the pocket in the front. You don't get the pocket.
I
with
don't get
fucking
the.
crew
You're
neck.
right. I don't
That's
Is
get
that
the
what
what
pocket.
it is? Do you think the pocket makes that much of a
I-
difference?
I think
I
the
love
pocket's
the
more important than the hood.
I mean I use it
I gotta be
occasionally,
honest. I don't
but
think
I like the pocket.
I don't think I'd be walking around with a sweatshirt with no hood but a pocket.
Well, that's it. It
It'd
doesn't
be
look
weird
right.
if this had a
It
pocket.
doesn't look
right?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm not a pocket guy, so
Yeah.
that's just the way it is.
Yeah. No, it would be weird, but if this had a pocket, that would be
They
fucking
just fit
strange.
different though.
it would look
They
weird.
do fit different.
That burps.
If you had that same sweatshirt
Real
with a hood
potent.
on it, and I put both of them on,
Well, you couldn't because like
I believe why.
where the V is there with his thing, you get the V here with the thing,
Yeah.
so it's open,
Yeah.
which gives you a little more room to get it over your noggin. I get
The
that
V on
noggin.
this is kind of bullshit because it's still a regular
It's just a
crew neck.
stitching. But I'm saying if it was a hoodie, that V is like this.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
there. So
Exactly.
You, get
That
extra
you have the
space.
natural thing from the neck of a hoodie.
Correct.
Yeah. What is this? I got a missed call.
Oh boy.
Oh, the guys might be here. Maybe.
Walk through the door.
Let me go double check. You guys
All right.
keep
All
riffing
right.
for a minute.
So, John has weird clothes.
John does have weird clothes. John.
Yeah, a couple guys at work have them, the Mayflower sweatshirts with no fucking. I had a couple of them because that's all we had.
Yeah.
And I fucking hated them. I don't know why. The hood makes a
Well, we
difference.
did, so like for years when our company would do their
Yeah.
like shirt order for the year, you got what they decided they think you wanted.
Oh, that's weird.
So they would give you like
Instead
a
of just
couple
asking
sweatshirts.
or sending an email?
They thought it was too much work, but now there's so many people and so many different whatevers that it just
Buy
they-
one thing.
So now actually what they do is they send you an email. They tell you can pick X amount of things from each category,
Yeah,
and you send it in, and they drop ship right to your house.
that's pretty great.
Yeah, so it works out better. Because I remember when we were smaller, I was the one that used to have to go to the. I would take the box truck, go to the printer, pick up all the boxes,
Oh yeah,
bring them to the thing, fucking,
Yeah.
and then they would sort them. It would take forever. What's up, guys?
What's up, guys?
We got the dudes.
Yeah. We're good. How are you guys?
We'll edit this part out anyway, right? Like this nonsense part.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's fine.
Those two seats there.
Cool. I'm Ryan. Kevin, nice to meet you, Ryan.
Mark, nice to meet you, Mark. I'm sorry, your name one more time.
John.
Yep. What's your name?
It's Ryan.
Ryan.
Yep.
Kyle.
Kyle, nice to meet you.
Ryan.
Who's got extra beer for the kids?
Oh, we got beers.
John.
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 They're light boys, but
Mark.
and a couple of them fell, so open them away from the table. But I was bringing the thing in, and the whole thing jumped down. I was like, well, that's
opposite.
unfortunate. Yeah.
Other way.
Oh no.
Thank you, case.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fine. It makes it worse. Yeah.
I don't think it'll explode, but it's definitely going to foam a touch.
Yeah.
Just open it away from the table.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It just.
Shook it up for me.
He chucked him across the room.
I did not chuck them. They lightly fell on the floor.
I work at a recording studio.
He's got a rage
so I
problem.
get it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you're like, can we bring beers to the
This will be
studio?
your the test for the next one I open.
Oh, this is good.
All right,
No,
perfect.
we're good.
They didn't fall far. They just kind of
We're
went.
way
Don't-
good.
I just
We're
didn't
way
want to.
good. Bands are always like, can we bring beers in the studio? I'm like, yeah, you just have to keep it on the other side of the room.
So what you need to do is open 4 or 5 and leave them there, and then you can drink from the
Like,
things.
don't put it next to like the $10,000
Yeah.
compressor.
Yeah.
Don't
Fuck
fucking
up
put
the
it over
expensive
there.
stuff.
Yeah, because then I will charge you for it.
Yeah, so we were just starting our nonsense intro bullshit stuff. So.
Yeah.
Oh, are we live? Oops.
Yeah,
Oh,
we are. No,
can
you're
cut this
fine.
part
You're all
out,
good.
that's fine.
What we were just talking about was sweatshirts, hooded or not hooded.
Well, we got
Ooh,
2.
boy. I like both.
I feel like
You like
I know where
both.
they're gonna lie here.
No.
I will say, as a nearly 40-year-old man, I'm leaning more towards crew necks lately.
No kidding.
I will say.
I just
but
turned
this
40.
is but
Big
this-
crew neck
Yeah,
guy.
don't listen. That doesn't, John.
I
John.
mean
but I
anything.
just bought this hoodie.
But I
Yeah.
did say my favorite hoodie of all time is my Zip Up American Nightmare hoodie. Best hoodie on the planet.
I mean, if you're walking around with an American Nightmare crew neck,
You're definitely 40.
yeah.
Probably 50.
Yeah, yeah. It's got to be hooded because I like to.
You
just
got
have
you
it,
like
you
having
know?
that option.
extra protection,
I
yeah.
get that.
Like
I was
he's got-
saying, like, these guys talking about how they love their hoodies. I'm trying to think of the last time I saw them with their hood up. And I'm like, it's like people that drive around with roof racks for decoration. It's like you don't actually ever put anything on it. You just like having it.
John, you see us inside.
it's
no one's got their hood up
Yeah.
inside. I had my
Yeah.
hood up today at work.
All
I
right,
had, I
whatever.
had my
That
hood up
argument's a
at
reach.
work.
Yeah.
That
I had my
argument's a
work-
reach.
I had my hood up at work.
It's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
worst time to make that argument.
You got to get rid
Yeah.
of that, Mike.
This is the
Yeah,
worst time to be
uncomfortably
alive.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like, now is the time for hoods.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. That's true.
I like having the option, I think. And they just fit better.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. No, only just be you want to be right up on there,
Yeah.
uncomfortable, tasting that thing.
You got that.
For you can
Yeah,
hold
you-
that if you want. You can take
if
it
that's
like
e-
a-
I'll
yeah,
hold it.
you got
If
the
it's
shit end
easier.
of the stick without the manipulatable one.
I'm good.
All right, we got Kyle and Kevin.
What's up?
The jury's still out on which is which. I'm gonna fuck it up.
That's fine.
All right, do it one more time for the listeners, not for me.
Kyle.
Yeah,
Kevin.
Kevin,
All right.
Kyle, and Kevin.
Perfect.
All right, good. I can make that happen now.
There will be a quiz.
Yeah, exactly. There'll be a quiz at the end of the episode. Yeah, I gave the guys a little rundown where we're at in the show. We're doing our little callbacks. Gonna hit some news.
Yep.
And go from there. So you got out on the ice.
Yeah.
No luck.
No.
Well, we got our big trip coming up.
I know,
We
I
got the
know.
big trip.
Fishing?
Yeah, we're going ice fishing. We go up to
Nice.
Moosehead every year.
I don't fuck with walking on ice, but I do fish quite a bit.
Oh, nice.
Spring and summer, yeah, bass
Nice.
fishing mostly. But yeah, I don't fuck with going on ice. No
We-
interest. Not into it.
I fell in love with it real quick. We actually next week we're having 2 of our buddies on. They do carp fishing, like the big carp stuff, and
Fucking insane.
It's insane. And they brought us out. So Mark's an avid fisherman. I'll never claim to be that. I like to fish when I do go, and I mostly go with Mark. But these guys brought us out. We went up to Lowell, was it?
Yeah.
We were there for 2 hours. We ripped probably 8 of these fucking hogs out of this river. I mean, these
Unbelievable.
things. It was the biggest fish I've ever caught in my life.
Did they have
on
3
the-
eyes
just on the
or
Merrimack?
2?
Yeah, on the
these are-
Merrimack.
Yeah.
These were healthy.
No, these were good, healthy fish.
They hadn't hit
both went
Lawrence
to,
yet. They were still up north.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We both went to college in Lowell.
Oh,
shit.
okay.
All right.
And I grew up 20 minutes from Lowell. Most of my band grew up in that area too.
Okay.
And he's only seen 3-eyed cop.
Yeah, I didn't know they had 2 eyes until like.
Got that Springfield
Those fish have
fish.
2 eyes. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I grew up.
Yeah, the Simpsons
I
fish.
got
Yeah.
I got family from Ludlow, so yeah, same.
Oh yeah,
situation.
yeah. They definitely got 3-eyed fish up there. Yeah, but no, those
the
guys.
dye coming from the factories didn't do anything to the water.
It's
right?
funny. Like I'm not a fish guy. So like a lot of my buddies that are into fishing were like, "I hope you chucked that thing across 495. Fuck those fish." Like the bass guys all hate the carp. It's weird.
I don't know why. That's ridiculous.
But then like in Europe, they're all into the carp fishing. They all fucking go crazy
there
over
are
it.
some people that just they only want to catch bass only ever.
Yeah.
Ever. They don't want to stray from that.
I mean, it's fun as fuck.
It is
So
great.
I'm with you,
Yeah.
bass fisherman.
Yeah. I do understand it, but there's so many other things.
But yeah, I'd like to.
Yeah.
I'd love to. I'd love to hit a rainbow trout
Yeah.
someday. I'd love to rip a salmon through that ice next weekend.
Can't.
I can, but I'll have to put it back.
You're not supposed to take it out of the hole.
Oh, you can't even take it out of the hole? Well, I'm going to take it out of the hole.
How do you get the hook out?
Just right at the edge.
Oh.
Yeah, you just have to edge it.
Out of
Yeah.
there,
Water?
just like being like,
This isn't
just
even
watching
efficient.
everyone. Just
They
being
could be.
Just go to
They
the
can be.
aquarium.
Listen, one of my favorite shows of all time is Northwood's Law, and they get out there with binoculars and they watch you for a while. Sneaky fucks.
I used to work with this guy in New Hampshire, and he was a deer hunter. And like you up there, you get your permit, you can shoot this many deer,
Yeah.
whatever. And he was like, and I was like, so what? And I don't hunt or anything like that. I respect it, but I've just never had an interest in it. And I was talking to him once. I was like, well, what do you do? Do you just go out and like you track him? You set up. He's like, no, they come in my backyard, so I sit in my bedroom with my rifle out the window. I was like, what?
Oh, the
What?
true way to do it. Yeah.
Huh?
It's so different in New Hampshire.
Yeah, that's
Like, I
fucking
know,
Texas
like,
North,
I
man.
I was like, what do you? So the farther north you go, the farther
Yeah.
south you get.
Yeah.
kind
Yeah,
of a thing.
Texas
It's
North.
Like, what do you? Like what? What is that? Like I don't hunt, and I'm judging you for that. Like, I don't. It's like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, just me and my Superman underoos.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what? You just make yourself like a bowl of Cheerios and a coffee, and you just sit out there. And he's like, yes. He just, without a hint of irony, was like, that is what I
Watching
do.
Good Morning
No.
America with a rifle barrel stuck out the
I
window.
got CNN on the TV,
Yeah.
and I'm just
Let's
got
be
this,
real.
like,
No.
It's
Those
Fox
motherfuckers
News.
aren't watching
They're
CNN.
Fox News.
let's just cut to the chase.
I was looking at a house.
Yeah,
in
they're watching One America.
It'd be Newsmax, or not.
Yeah,
what-
Newsmax.
Newsmax at this point.
I was looking at a house in Middleborough, and this guy was a huge hunter. And when I say huge hunter, he had a shed basically in his yard that faced the woods with just enough to look with binoculars and put his gun out there and kill whatever.
I wish I had a picture
And
of it.
he had where he would hang the deer like a wash rack in his yard and a walk-in fucking freezer
Nice.
in the
That guy's
yard.
got the
I'm
full
like,
dressing
holy
thing.
shit!
As a Middleborough resident, I fuck with that guy. That guy's awesome. Yeah.
I shit you not, in my neighbor's yard right now is a boat trailer with a 6 foot by 6 foot by 8 foot tall building on the trailer,
Yeah.
all painted camouflage with 3 windows,
Nice.
Yeah.
just sitting there in his backyard. He will put it in the woods when he hunts. It's not hunting season now. He just
Yeah.
kind of pulled it out of there. But that's like his new thing. He has a couple of tree stands back in there
Yeah.
'cause we live against like the woods.
Mm.
So he has a couple of tree stands back there, and then he'll tow that back with his side by side and plop it somewhere
Nice.
and let it sit so they get used to it. It's
Love to
fucking
see it.
wild.
Look at that screensaver. It's beautiful.
You guys are gonna sit in a shed on the lake and not pull fish out of ice.
They have a tent.
Okay.
We have a shelter.
Yep.
We're actually going to sleep out on the ice this year.
I'm assuming I got this
I'm
because
not.
of you.
You
but
are.
I saw something that was called.
Yeah.
It was like a high-end shed rental, high-end ice fishing shack.
Dude, they're
rental.
wild,
Some
the
of that-
stuff they make.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this thing was like fucking 16 by 16. It had a couch. It had a fireplace,
TVs.
television.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been on YouTube.
It had
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It had a
It's
full
insane.
floor.
That's like my entire Instagram algorithm
It
right
had a
now.
full floor with these the
Yeah, the little screw
boat
top
open
things.
right?
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
when you come up here, and he's like, here's 8 boxes of the baits. You have the rods. You have the flip up things. You have, if you want to fish outside, the
Yeah.
holes outside.
Yeah.
Comes with an electric battery powered auger if you want to drill your own holes, but all the other holes will be drilled for you. Like,
It's a rite of passage. You got to drill your own hole.
I agree.
Did you see the price tag on that?
Oh, I did not. I'm sure it was hefty.
I'll tell you one thing.
Do you
my-
look down
yeah.
on the people who have the holes drilled for them? Is that like a stolen valor thing?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
like-
it's 100% stolen valor.
Yeah.
No.
It's like, what do you? Come on.
And
It
the
depends,
cost of
though.
that, like I was just at an all inclusive in Dominican Republic for my 40th this past weekend, and I tell you that was cheaper than probably what that thing is cost.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which one'd you go to?
Which Alfaro, Ocean Alfaro,
My brother
was in
got-
Punta Cana.
My brother got married in Punta Cana. We were at a different one though. He got married at some all inclusive in Punta Cana. But
Yeah, this was Ocean Alfaro. It was dope. Yeah, we had a swim up room,
that's cool.
swim up room, swim up bar, lazy river. Place was sick.
You can swim to the room?
Yeah, our room literally instead of a patio or something, you open the door and it was a private pool that was only connected to the 8 rooms in our building.
That's cool.
Oh, shit.
Just like a little strip pool, and it was basically a hot tub because you're sitting on the equator and it's a smaller volume of water. So our pool was like way warmer than
like
the main
bubbling.
pool.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Yeah, the 4 of us just fucking sat in there, and the dude from the swim up bar would just bring us trays of drinks over there all day. It was amazing.
God's living the dream.
That's my callback.
It's
Yeah,
not bad.
yeah, that's my callback. We like to go to like New Hampshire and Vermont and stuff this time of year and stuff too, but it's like the cost. It was literally cheaper to go there to an all inclusive than to go to like New Hampshire for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Sure.
It was insane. So yeah, I'll try to do that again. Other callback, Mike and Lenny's is open at Widowmaker. I know you hit it up.
Yep. It was great.
Shouts to those guys. I'm pumped for that. I can't wait to go check out the new trailer and
Yeah, the place was
get a nice
slam.
South Shore bar pizza.
Slam.
Oh, Widowmaker in Braintree.
Yep.
Yeah.
I saw.
Yeah, that's the homies.
I saw Cave in there a few months ago.
Yeah. Yep.
And, that place, they're doing a lot of shows. I'm seeing my Buds and Worshipper are playing there.
Yeah,
pretty
Worshipper's
soon.
playing there. Yeah, I saw Worshipper there last time they played. It was awesome.
They're the
Yeah,
best.
Worshipper and Summoner. That show was
Yep.
great.
Summoner, aka Riff Cannon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Chris from that band and I, we work at the same studio in Somerville.
Nice.
He's a good dude. But yeah, it's cool. Like they're with like the sort of lack of smaller venues in the Boston area to play, that like sub 300 thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool that they're doing that stuff. And it's like not the best sound. It's like a big cavernous warehouse,
Yeah.
but it's still
No, they did
cool.
it. They did a good job with the sound and everything. Like, it's fucking cool. I
No,
like it a
it's
lot.
awesome. The beer's cool, and like just the area. It's right off of 93, so it's super convenient. I live up in Salem. It took me 35-40 minutes to get there or something.
Oh, that's not bad from
that's
Salem.
It's not bad at all.
Yeah, those are
I
the
drive
homies.
fast,
Yeah.
but still,
Mass or New Hampshire?
Mass.
Oh,
Yeah. No,
you can't get there easy.
We met them actually early. The podcast has been going on for like almost like 5 years now at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I talked shit about their graphic design early on, and
It was just two of us sitting here in the dark, just bullshitting
Yeah.
about nothing.
the owner.
He's like, you know what sucks is Widowmaker's can design.
I was like, I love their
well,
beer,
that's
but their
random.
cans
Let's go with that.
suck.
Yeah.
And the owner emailed me, and now we're like good friends. He was at my wedding, and I do graphic design for them.
That's awesome. Hey, there you go. That's how it's just like talk shit, and
Yeah.
sometimes it like
Yeah.
pays off. You know?
But yeah, dude, talking about shows there, they just we just got all the Hop Smoker Fest stuff rolled out. Man,
Oh,
that
yeah.
lineup is killer. Yeah.
Are you doing the artwork for that? How long have you been doing their art?
Like 3.5, 4 years now.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I'm
I've
saying,
done
like,
all the Hop Smoker Fest stuff I've worked
'cause
on.
I was like, what? I thought their can designs were pretty cool. Like,
No. Oh yeah, I'm talking like
You're talking, like,
2018 to
way-
20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
I
was
met
like, their
them.
can
When did we
design's
start the
cool.
podcast? It was the first year.
2020.
So yeah, since 2020.
Okay.
But yeah, no, thankfully I've worked on like all the Hop Smoker Fest stuff, and we work with a lot of great illustrators. I'm not claiming to do everything. Like I'm a graphics guy, so Ryan works with some awesome illustrators that will, get a drawing from, and then I'll do my thing with it, and so on and so forth. But yeah, the Hop Smoker Fest lineup this year is fucking wild, and we put together that whole Hop Smoker Fest Invitational, like a Battle of the Band style thing for the opening bands for both days. I think we talked about it before, but Held Captives opening on Saturday. Earthlore is opening on Friday. It's going to be a good time. Tickets are already like more than half sold too.
Yeah,
So
I don't think I've seen the full lineup announcement. I
Yeah,
couldn't
it's
go
like-
I was in the studio last year. I couldn't go to it last year.
it's like Resin and Forest, Castle Rat, Restless Spirit. Those are the top few of the lineup. But yeah, it's a good lineup.
Nice.
Mourn is playing. I'm excited to see them. I haven't seen them yet.
Warren's cool.
Yep.
Those are good dudes.
Yep. So should be a good time. Check it out. Widowmakerbrewing.com for tickets. Get them now if you're going to get them. Ryan, you got anything?
I do actually. It's actually music related. It's
Yeah.
kind of funny. So, Andrew was at school the other day. My son's 15 or going to be 15 in a few weeks. He drums. He's getting into drumming and plays in the pep band and like all the school stuff. So he's into that. He's getting into music now, right? So he's like really getting in.
We got to get his instructor on.
So he's on tour right now. He's gone.
I know. Maddie knew what band he was in. And he was all excited. when we
Strange
told him.
Kids.
Strange
is the name
Kids.
of the band, and then
Yeah.
another band. He plays in a few, but Strange Kids I think is the one
That was,
he's
like,
on
the big
tour
one,
with,
yeah.
They got picked up for some tour and they're gone for like 6 or 8 weeks because
Yeah.
he takes lessons with that guy on Sundays, but he's gone, so he's off lessons for now. But anyway, so he's at school the other day, and one of his teachers had a Wilhelm Scream sticker either on his bottle or his computer or something.
Fun fact: the label at Dying For It on the original band of that was the same label. It was called Smack and Isaiah back then.
Yep.
Oh, it was?
Yeah,
Oh,
Smack and
that's
Isaiah
funny.
was the old name.
What's his teacher's name?
Yeah.
Ethan Church.
Oh yeah, we know Ethan.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Shout out.
I had a
with,
feeling you guys would know.
We played with his band. He's in that band. What was it? Wednesdays.
Yeah, Wednesdays.
Wednesdays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wednesdays. Yep. So
Dude's a
Ethan's
savant.
He is
Ethan's
so
mother
good.
and my wife worked together.
Oh no
Oh,
shit.
cool.
So when Andrew was getting into drums, Ethan was already probably like well on his way
He's so
to be.
good.
He is.
Yeah.
He is
Yeah, he's amazing.
beyond.
Yeah.
For his age, he is ridiculous.
Yep.
But yeah, every Sunday we go into the house. I live like 10 minutes from them.
Oh, cool.
And we'll go to the
dude.
house.
Jeff. What up, Jeff?
Hey, Jeff.
What up, Jeff?
Jeff's a home. Sorry to cut you off. Jeff's a homie from England.
Oh, hell yeah.
shit.
Is that it's funny? He came out. We did an England tour last year, and he is friends with Trevor from a Wilhelm Scream, and
Nice.
Trevor hit him up and was like, go see this band, Oh the Humanity.
Yeah.
And we were touring with my partner Helen's band One Fall, and he was like, go see these two bands. They're great. So he came and saw us in London, and then he came and saw us. Was it in Reading? Like 2 days later? Yeah.
And then also in Brighton.
And then he came to the Brighton
fucking
show.
3 of the shows.
Nice.
Legend.
Sorry,
Legend.
sorry to cut off your story.
Oh, you're
Just
good,
like,
no,
dude.
that's
I
fine.
I wonder if that's
Like,
the.
what's up?
I wonder if that's the chatty British guy that we just met at the bar before.
I was going to
this.
say the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Jeff, are you here?
We
Dude, this
had
guy
dinner
sat
the
down
guy
and he was
like,
so obviously the accent, and it's like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
guy was so excited to make a comment about being from the UK, and he was like,
It was like he was.
he
like
looks
tapping the
around and he's
table
like,
to
was
say,
waiting.
I'm
He was waiting.
surprised
He's chopping
nobody
the
asked
bit.
me if I like warm beer.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, dude, we get it. People in the UK drink cask beer. You
It's
fucking
not-
nerd.
but it's not that much warmer. It's like
Yeah.
a beer that sat out for like
room
5
temperature.
minutes.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
fun. But like those
Yeah.
kind of beers, I'm like, yeah, they should be served a little.
Right, those
Yeah.
thick
warmer.
beers are not supposed to be that
They're not
cold.
supposed. It's like
Yeah.
if I forget where I was. It was like the last time I went to like a tavern in the square. I got a Guinness and they gave it to me in like a frosted mug, and I was like, no.
Yeah, it's not supposed
what
to
do
be
you-
that way.
This isn't like
Just give me more ounces of it, and it
Yeah.
can be warmer.
Yeah.
like this would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jesus,
Go to bed, Jeff.
Yeah. Nah, he's all right. Jeff's a good boy. I mean,
So anyway, sorry.
no, that's fine.
So anyway, so he saw the sticker and he says to his teacher, "Oh, I think my dad had those guys on the podcast,
Which band was this?
Wilhelm Scream."
Oh, okay.
And I was like, "Well, I told him I was like, we have not had them on yet.
We've talked about
I would
them a
love
lot,
to get them on
probably,
at some
yeah.
point." So I'm friends with this Rick Riley, and his
Oh, yeah.
brother is in the band. So that's kind of how I knew who they are. Obviously, I knew who they are from being local and whatever,
Yeah.
but I'm friendly with one of the guy's brothers. So
Yeah.
I said, I'd love to get him on, whatever. And then his teacher says, "Wait, what podcast?" And he told him Topics going up the stairs. He goes, "Oh, my friend Trevor was on that podcast. I know that name, Trevor Vaughn."
Yeah, Trevor Vaughn's the shit, man.
Yeah. So
So
shouts to
glad
Mr. De Silver if you're
He's-
listening.
yeah.
Give him a good grade. I don't know.
Dude, talk about a hard guy to nail down.
Yeah.
He is so busy. I'm so pumped we got that
I know,
episode done.
I know. It took like a year to get that kid on.
Yeah,
But yeah, so it's like Andrew's random teacher knew who we were. which
that's
is kinda
funny. That's cool.
We should have asked Trev to come. We're
We
in the
should
area.
have. We should have called him up.
Trev Riley did our record. We should have just been like, "Hey, Trev, come down and."
Oh, really?
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, no shit. That's
yeah.
funny.
Trev from Wilhelm did our record.
Yeah.
I have done. I've done a couple of like tours as their sound guy.
Oh, nice.
So like
wow.
we go back with those dudes. They're homies.
Hell yeah.
Nuno and I send hockey memes to each other once in a while.
Nice.
like
Yeah. We spent a lot of time in New Bedford making this record.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's awesome.
Good old New
It's just
Bedford
a
practice
big,
spaces.
It's a big, small world, you know?
Yep.
oh yeah.
Truly.
Especially with music.
Truly.
Especially with music. We'll hit a couple newses and
Sure.
this day in history and roll on in.
Yeah. Is my
What is it?
breaking news?
Oh yeah, no, I'm hearing you.
Hey,
Okay.
oh, you are?
Yeah,
You're
what-
good? Hear me
yeah.
good? Okay. Maybe
I can give
loud.
you more
Maybe
headphone level or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe that. I think I just can't hear myself in my headphones as much. Hey, oh yeah, that's better.
that's better.
Yeah.
Employee injured after toilet explodes inside Pittsburgh city government building.
Oh no.
You know, you hear stories about this,
That
but
sounds
what,
like some Goonies shit.
what makes it happen? You know,
More like Schittsburg.
what
Yo.
makes it happen? Oh,
Shots
I think
fired.
it was Doug.
officials say there was a bizarre accident at a Schittsburg government building as a toilet shattered and injured an employee. So, as far as what happened, there's not really an explanation, but it really exploded. It's crazy. I mean, there's not much left of this toilet. The whole tank blew out.
That has to be a...
Yeah, it's wild.
There's no way that was naturally done. Like, someone must have left something in there, like a fucking
Like an
M80
M80.
or something. Like, I mean, they blew up my high school toilet with an M80. That was a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't just flush and that happened.
No.
No, it makes no sense.
No. That's still scary as fuck. I don't want that to happen to me.
Seriously. Now every time we go to the bathroom, we're like, what the fuck?
25-pound striper through the ice.
Martha's Vineyard.
Talking about ice fishing.
Yeah,
I
I
figured
think
we
I
could
pulled
do
the
it.
fish
don't-
out of the
does it
ice
say
and
what
held
lake
it.
that was from? I was looking what pond that was from. I think I know what one it was. We were looking on a map.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They have ponds there?
On the vineyard.
Yeah. On the Vineyard, kid? Isn't a pond there just probably the ocean, basically?
Let's just move on. Let's just move fucking on. Jesus
Dude,
Christ.
I've gone over there in like
Oh,
late November for work, and it's just me, 3 other tradespeople, and 50 guys dressed in orange and camo going out rabbit hunting.
In the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've
Chris-
done some
The
weddings.
rabbits, I guess, are like fucking overpopulated massively, so they just let people go. It doesn't matter. There's no ticket. There's no nothing. Just go kill them all.
yeah, it's
Anything
just
you
like-
can kill, you can keep.
Wow.
Population control.
Yeah.
They can come to my yard, too.
Yeah.
It's crazy over there.
It was like the one person who brought a deer to Prudence Island, and now there was so
Oh,
many
yeah.
fucking deer out there now. They're just like, come kill them all.
I think I was reading something that like, I think it was like Hawaii. Like somebody brought, it might not have been Hawaii, but like somebody brought like the coqui frogs from Puerto Rico. Like they brought them to another island. I want to say it was Hawaii, and like
I think you're right.
Quickly became an invasive species.
Yeah, they have no natural
Wow.
predators or
Yeah.
whatever. It's
So
like,
it's
one,
just like whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, there's like no squirrels in Hawaii. There's like certain things that you would think would just be everywhere aren't
There's no
there.
rats in Alberta.
That's pretty cool.
They have a rat like that. There was like a whole. I learned this from an episode of the Joe Pera show where like the Albertan government like had something like back in the mid 20th century, and they were just like eradicating all of the rats. So there's like
Wow.
no rats in Alberta apparently,
Hmm.
which is insane.
Good for them.
Yeah, seriously.
Rats are gross.
They all came to Fall River, I think.
Yeah.
Dude, that meme. Did you see that meme that Cooked Alive posted yesterday? It was so
I don't
fucking
think so.
funny. It's like that one of the cartoon girl laying in bed, and like the 2 people texting. You seen that one?
I mean, I've seen the
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen the outline, sure.
It's a girl like, I'm in a really bad place right now, and the guy writes Fall River ?
Oh no, the one I saw was Taunton. I saw the same one, but it
so
said Taunton.
good.
Yeah.
Same thing.
But yeah, no, Cooked Alive posted it with a Cooked Alive song playing in the background. It's so fucking funny.
It's like that whole corridor.
Yeah, it's so good. You get some history.
Yeah. Oh, fuck my
Or you got no. Do your news. No, I didn't know you had a news. Do your news.
Did we talk about this last week, or did I fucking dream we did? Visitors flocked to New York to the Botanic Garden for a whiff of a flower that smells like a rotting corpse.
So I actually had the same one.
We talked about this on a previous, not this
You talked
blooming
about
of it,
this.
but on a
Yeah,
previous
years
episode.
ago. Yeah, a while
I think
back.
when we had like Botanic Alley on.
Might
Or
have been one
something.
of the
That was
first
your very
episode.
first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was probably 5 years ago, but
Wow,
we
so
have
this thing's
talked
been
about
around
this
that
flower.
long?
Yeah. Well, the flower in general has like been around for a million years,
Really?
probably. Yeah, it's a fucking flower. It's like a dinosaur.
I know. I just didn't.
Yeah,
I mean,
it says
why-
it
who-
smells
who-
like rotting gym socks and garbage.
If you fucking tell me, like, if you told me this,
Yeah.
I'm not going. Oh, do you want to smell something that smells like a dead corpse? Yeah, everyone's
the-
lining up
Yeah.
Yeah.
at every. Yeah, they're like,
That's
no,
like,
no,
you
no,
know,
no.
that's
So-
like your buddy, like,
I
you're not
agree.
going to believe what I did last night. Smell my finger.
Yeah, no.
It's like, oh no, leave that
Did
that
you
corpse
miss with the
there.
toilet
I want
paper?
to come
What is
back in
going
a few
on? Yeah.
hours. Like, I don't even understand.
It's a crazy looking flower.
Yeah,
what
it
is.
I guess it's the first one to bloom in 15 years, so that's why
Yeah.
everyone's all freaking out about
They
it.
only
yeah,
bloom
yeah.
like it takes like
It-
over
decades,
a decade for
yeah.
them to bloom.
yeah, well,
I feel like I've read about this. Like,
The-
you go down those like Wikipedia rabbit holes. And
Yeah,
you go,
yeah, yeah.
like, wait, what is this?
now I wonder how close
So-
you got to get to smell it. Like,
They
I mean,
named
based on
it-
the size of it, probably not that
not that
close.
far.
Like
I
that-
mean, that's
right.
a
Lady's
big fucking
pretty
flower.
close.
this fucking broad needs to be in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Her
I
sense
don't
of
know
smell is
what,
probably
I don't
not
know
that
what
good.
she's doing. Man, your hands are gonna stink now. Don't even.
Yeah.
No Uber drivers going to that garden now.
So they're only really found in the
Like, absolutely not.
Sumatran rainforest.
Oh, hit that time
Yeah.
lapse.
Oh, we got a time lapse.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this
There you
one. Oh. Oh no, we're
I'm a
gonna
sucker for these videos. Time lapse.
Be
Yeah.
Veggies growing and
Oh,
stuff.
so they're just like,
yeah, I wonder if
Living
it
it.
smells right now.
oh. My question is, do they know it's going to flower? Like, do they know it's going to
I
open?
mean, I feel like if they're coming to see
Well, it
it,
must be like,
up the crack in a
what
window.
the fuck is this smoke shit? Is
I've
it just like
derailed
It's
it.
Is it
it's
just
probably
like mist?
a mister. Yeah.
That's
Mist?
the smell.
yeah, right?
Oh, the lights are
See it.
dimming.
Yeah.
The lights are dimming. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen cartoons when stuff smells bad, it makes smoke.
That's right. It's usually green.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
How long does
That's only in cartoons though. In real life, it's clear smoke.
Yeah.
There it is.
that was the whole thing.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
What
it?
the fuck?
Yeah. I know there's more, but it's not really doing it.
Fuck
now.
this plant.
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing in the middle just gets limp. It's like a limp corn cob now.
Oh,
Yeah.
That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it. And it smells
What a
like
letdown.
It smells like death.
Dog shit.
That was fucking dog shit.
The other one's that bird flu. That's been fucking.
I'm not pumped about that because I got a lot of birds
I
on my
know.
property.
We thought about that.
And I got chickens and ducks and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I know. I wasn't saying the news story for you to get pumped up. This is gonna pump John up. He's got ducks and chickens.
Yeah, I'm not pumped about it. But
Yeah,
they're still there.
It's been fucking wild. Fucking insane. Plymouth's been the worst area really
Yeah.
so far.
Keep it there. Stay in the
It's
middle.
everywhere. It's already been Hanson, Halifax.
Oh, I know.
We talked about didn't we talk about this on the way home the other day, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, we talked about it on
I've
the show a little bit actually.
been reading
Oh,
about it in the Massachusetts Backyard Chicken Owners Facebook group. I know all about it.
Yeah,
bet you have.
So what are people like saying about it? What are people saying about on that?
Oh, dude, people are getting wacky. People are like wrapping their runs in plexiglass and shit, and it's
Yeah.
like, dude, it's not gonna fix it.
No?
Like, it's not gonna fucking fix it. It's not gonna be like it's not gonna be floating down the street like a green smoke fart
Yeah.
and get into your coop. Yeah, it's like if they're gonna get it, they're gonna get it. You know,
They found it's a screeching owl. It's like red.
yeah, the one
Those-
that
yeah.
yeah, I saw in the person's driveway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy.
sucks. It sucks. Hopefully, it goes away soon.
Hope so.
But yeah,
I got one more news.
okay.
It was something we talked about a while back.
Oh.
Do you remember the South Carolina facility that lost 43 monkeys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard
They
this.
caught the last 4 this week.
Oh,
The
they
last
did.
4.
The last 4 they finally found.
What the hell have they been
They've
doing
been
this whole
hanging
time?
around the place. People had seen them, but they couldn't catch them.
Okay. And I guess the temperature down there is
Right.
you know, nice enough where they can get
But they were part of the snow band, and they had 4 inches of snow,
Ooh.
which they think contributed to the monkeys coming back. Like,
Yeah,
oh
they're
shit,
like,
we don't
yeah,
like this
fuck
anymore.
this.
Sure.
Wow.
Yep. So they recaptured the monkeys. Said they were all
All of them
in good health, and just everything's back to
Nice.
status quo, I guess.
That's good.
Back to torturing monkeys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Back to putting lipstick on them.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks out here. It's cold. I guess we'll go back to being
Yeah.
tortured
Yeah.
in whatever this
Tortured
place
for
is.
shampoo
At least
products
it's
or whatever.
warm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to think
The
that
bleach
like when it
burns
said
my
like
eyes.
products tested on animals when I was a kid, I assumed that legit meant like, oh, we put lipstick on it. And no, it's
Yeah,
like, oh
no.
no, we're injecting.
They're
these
injecting.
Oh, yeah,
they're
they're
injecting.
See what's
Injecting
to it.
Ozempic into beagles
I'm
and
like,
stuff.
like,
Yeah.
oh, I thought it was just like we're putting lipstick on this, fucking pig to make
Yeah.
it look nice. And it's like, no, we're like injecting bad shit and then
Yeah.
killing some of them.
I mean, I've seen some beagles that could use Ozempic, but it's still not cool.
Yeah. Check out
Not cool.
beaglefreedom.com. You can adopt. You can
John's a big
adopt.
beagle guy.
I'm
He's got a
beagle guy.
couple.
You can adopt beagles that were rescued from testing facilities. Beaglefreedom.com. And Amazon Smile.
Is that like the
was-
old Greyhound place they used to grab them from the dog tracks?
No. Yeah, it's sort of. I mean, but they just like they essentially lobby to take down factories that are doing cruel shit, and they'll take out 20, 30 dogs and they'll adopt them out once they're ready. It's really sucky actually. Their biggest point of funding was that thing called Amazon Smile. Have you ever heard of that? So it would like basically like round up like your change or like take a percentage of your purchase and donate it to a charity automatically. You don't have to do anything. And they were making like $1 million a year off this
Yeah.
to put towards their rescue. And Amazon cut the program.
Of course.
Fuckers.
Because Bezos isn't rich enough.
Yeah,
Must have been after
exactly.
he got divorced.
Dude, how big's your yacht gotta be?
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
exactly.
50, I mean, 50. He keeps half his money. It's like 50% of 500 billion is only 250 billion.
Yeah.
What's he gonna do?
That's it.
Well, did you see the owner of what fucking team is it? The owner of one of the NFL teams just docked his yacht in New Orleans. $370 million yacht. This thing is like 7 days. It looks like a small cruise ship.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I gotta say, like, I do love that Bezos' ex-wife, who got half his money, is just
Giving it away.
Giving it away.
Oh, it's
awesome.
such a fuck you, and I love all of it.
I love
Yeah.
it because, like, she's still like living good.
Oh yeah,
You
she's
know?
not poor.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
she's not the poor, but she's just like, no, I don't even want this. Like, I fought you in court for it, and I got
I
it.
didn't want it. I
On
didn't
principle.
want
I
you
don't
to
even
have it.
want
Yeah.
so I'm just gonna give it to people.
Yep.
Fuck off.
Fuck yeah.
I'll play your song. I'm gonna run to the restroom and I'll
Great.
be right back.
Sounds great.
Today in history.
1905, the world's largest diamond was found in South Africa. It was 3,106 carats.
Is this the size of a basketball? Like, how big is this fucking thing?
621 grams. So only 1.37 pounds. It was estimated to value of $2
When you
billion.
measure a diamond in pounds, you're now
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
fucking
You're in
balling
good
out.
shape.
You're in Jeff Bezos territory. Yeah.
$2 billion. It was estimated at $2 billion.
Holy shit.
That was 1905.
And that's uncut. It was $2 billion in 1905.
1905.
So the
Yeah.
the,
Let's
the
do that
question
math
is,
real quick.
Yeah.
the question
Yeah.
is
I don't
which
wanna.
predominantly white Northern European country stole it and still has it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
either Italy, France, or
England.
England or Germany.
Denmark.
Yeah, you got like 4 or 5 options.
1967, 3 astronauts died in the cabin fire while preparing for the Apollo 1 mission.
Do you know their names?
I don't.
Gus Grissom, Ed White, Roger Chaffee.
Wow.
Boom.
Damn.
Why do
That
you know
boy
that?
came prepared tonight.
All right. That's pretty good. 1982, the first computer virus was released into the wild.
Why?
A 15-year-old kid did it as a practical joke. 1985, USA for Africa recorded "We Are the World." Over 20 million copies of the charity single were sold. That's still going on though, like that charity alone. Because I actually watched the documentary on that. Like,
Yeah,
month ago.
I watched
Shit.
that not too long
yeah,
ago too.
Was
and
that Bob
there's still
Geldof who
Huh?
did that? Was that Bob Geldof?
no.
The
It
guy who
was
did Live Aid?
No, he did Live Aid. That was the one with Freddie Mercury. This was years later. Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They were
I
all in
thought
that like
Geldof had it.
studio.
No, I know.
He, I mean,
I
might,
thought
he might
Lionel
have
handed
something.
it.
Lionel
Yeah.
Richie had his. It was
Okay.
really.
Yeah, he was one of the
yeah,
main people from
yeah.
Lionel Richie. I remember that.
So
It might have been the same guy though, behind the scenes. I don't know.
in 1986, Space Shuttle Challenger explodes. The orbiter broke apart 73 seconds after liftoff.
Yep, watch that live in 4th grade.
I did too, killing seven astronauts on board. Do you know their names?
Christy McCullough was one of them.
So I do have a funny story about that. So I was born in I was born in August of '86. It's kind of funny. I was born in August of '86. My folks were down because my grandparents lived down there in like the winters and stuff. They were snowbirds. So my mom was pregnant with me. My parents were down there like visiting friends and my dad's parents, and they were at some restaurant. And it was like the couple days before that the Challenger was set to launch, and there was this guy who was like it was at the bar with my parents, like watching the TV and stuff. It was the news was on, and he like according to my dad, like clearly like had a hair across his ass and my dad's talking to him, and he's like, "Yo, well, you don't think this is cool? Like, this is awesome. Like, they're sending a fucking school teacher up there." And he was like, he was the finalist to go up, and he lost out to a receiver.
Wow, no shit.
So he was pissed.
A little bitter.
He was a little bitter that he didn't go out.
Bad vibes.
And he was
Bad
basically,
vibes.
he was not stoked about it. And I think my dad sort of implied that guy, I don't think this is why, but that guy sort of implied that he lost out because Krista McAuliffe is a woman. And so my dad's like, yeah, he's coming at it from like this kind of like sexist angle or
angle.
whatever.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
And I was
yeah,
like, good thing.
you didn't run into him like the day
After,
later, did you?
Yeah.
But I was like, no, oddly enough, I didn't see
And he said, "I hope that motherfucker explodes."
my dad told me that. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah. Hope nobody left a couple screws loose on that. Wink, wink.
fuck?
Yeah. I have a crazy story that's similar to that with somebody that you guys know.
Okay.
The one person that connects us is Charlie Robinson.
Yo, Charlie.
Shout out,
Fucking
Charlie.
shouts to Charlie.
I love that.
Dude's the
boy.
best.
He's the greatest.
I love him. He actually bailed me out yesterday. I hit him up and I said I needed like a weird template for something. I'm like, I know Charlie will have this, and he did. And he hooked me up. He's the
Comes
best.
through.
He's been on a couple times, right?
Yeah. Charlie came on to talk about his graphic design stuff with Cutlip. And
Cutlip.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out to Cutlip. And then he came on again to talk about the golf apparel stuff that they were doing.
Nice.
But yeah, so many moons ago when Charlie and I played in a band together, he came to practice one day, kind of quiet. And he was like, "Listen, guys, I got to tell you something. I'm trying out for another band. And if I get it, I'm going to be all in on this." And I was like, "Okay, dude, like, power to you. It's a great opportunity." And he tried out for this band. He didn't get it, and he was fucking pissed because he put so much time into this. He rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed, and he learned all the songs.
I think I know where this is
He
going.
he learned all the songs, and he was doing great. And he thought the rehearsal went really well. And not only did he not get it, they never called him.
Oh.
It was like they didn't even give him a Dear John letter. It was like they were like just never called him. He just saw an announcement that they were going on tour with this new drummer or whatever.
Fuck.
Well, there was a car accident, and the person that got the gig didn't make it.
Oh, fuck.
Yep.
Jeez.
Yikes.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me they were on the 9/11 plane.
No.
No.
Like that's where I,
I mean,
thought this
it's
was going,
basically the
which-
same
yeah.
thing, but it's
Yeah.
like
Wild.
a van crashed, and only
Yeah.
one dude didn't make it, and it was the
was the
dude that
drummer.
would have been Charlie. yeah,
Jesus Christ.
yeah, fucking wild.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, scary. But that's the thing. It's like one of those things. It's like,
Yep.
you know, the world has a plan,
Not
or
that-
it's just shit luck. I don't know.
Not that rockets exploding, not also terrifying. But
Yeah.
as someone who spends a lot of time in vans,
Yeah.
Yeah.
driving dangerously
Dude,
tired.
I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
What
That is
scares me
scary
is the
shit.
van with the trailer. It's like if you don't have to have the trailer, I feel like that cuts your failure rate in half.
It's not fun.
No.
Like that is not a
Yeah,
fun
like that band Year of the Knife had that
Damn you
nasty
and your
accident
double
this
bass.
year.
Ghost Inside had
Yeah.
that
That shit
van
at home.
accident. I mean, like Baroness was involved in
Yeah,
one.
the
I
singer of Year of the Knife was like in a fucking coma for 6 months.
mean, yeah, it's like
Yeah,
and
it's
like
scary
when
shit.
you're towing a van, it doesn't matter like if there's no cars on the road, you are just white knuckling the whole time. And it's like it's not something you ever get. Like I
Mm-hmm. Let's
like,
face it, driving those things isn't super comfortable to begin with.
No, because it's just like it's a weird added like, and then like trying to, especially if you don't have brakes on the van.
Yeah, if you
like,
don't have trailer
if you have
brakes.
Trailer brakes, it's like that's a whole other thing. It's like ugh. Because then like when you do have trailer brakes, you got that, and then you have your hand on you're trying to like adjust that a little.
Yeah.
So you do
Like
two
flapping the
braking
trigger a little bit, like
I
a
know,
little
it's
bit of
like,
brake, little bit of brake.
Yeah, or it's like a little less brake because every time you hit the brakes, the
Yeah,
thing's
it's just
locking
like-
up
Yeah,
on
yeah,
you.
yeah.
things. It's not fun.
Yeah, no, it's, you know, you never know.
Speaking
you
of
never fucking know.
Charlie,
Seth MacFarlane was supposed to be on a plane.
he was supposed to be on
And Mark Wahlberg.
Really?
11
Yeah,
planes.
that hit one of the towers in 9/11.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he got Seth MacFarlane. It was like
He overslept.
because they were hungover.
Yeah.
Because it was like his friend's bachelor party or something like that, and then they were flying out the next day, and yeah, they were hungover and missed their flight. But Charlie, Charlie's done like most of this band's like graphic design throughout the years, and
Yeah,
we have like a handful of T-shirt designs just like
tons
ready,
that
like
Charlie's
in the
done.
chamber.
In the
that we're, like,
queue.
at some point, like we're gonna just like. You know, because every once in a while, like we'll change up the designs, and Kevin will be like, "I think I'm gonna put in an order for this one." I'm like, "Great, yeah, let's do that one. That's cool."
Catch us on tour. Grab one.
Grab a shirt on tour.
It's Inspire product.
All right, do we have any? We're good on our intro stuff. We can dive on in.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, I'm done.
Cool. Like I said, we've got the guys from Oh the Humanity on. We've got Kevin and Kyle.
Yep.
Which
So
one's which? Who knows?
I've learned that Kyle is on the end.
Yes.
I've learned that because I made them repeat it for the listeners, not for me. I knew
definitely
as
not for
soon as they
John.
walked in,
Right.
I knew that was Kyle. But I wanted to make sure the listeners all knew that Kyle was sitting on the end, closest to the camera. For all those who couldn't remember, definitely not me. So, like I said, our connection is from Charlie Robinson. You guys did a split with the Hideout years ago, right?
Yep.
Did you guys meet from band stuff or from Charlie doing your graphic stuff?
So we met a long, long time ago playing together at a venue in Lowell called the Ant Cellar basement show venue that our friend Tom ran. And we became quick friends. So like when this band started,
Yeah, what year did this band start?
we played our first show in 2012.
Oh, wow, okay.
So when we started, we were kind of like we came from a bunch of different musical backgrounds, but we kind of converged around like shreddy skate punk stuff. And when we first started playing shows, we kind of just like grabbed from our pool of like friends that were playing in bands at the time, and a lot of them were a lot heavier than what we were doing. So a lot of the shows we were playing were like at Anchors Up with like beatdown bands. We're like, we don't really fit here, and
Yeah.
it's just like we're kind of all over the place. But when we found the Hideout, we're like, oh. This is our.
Like, these are our
yeah,
people.
These are our people. This is what we want to be doing.
Yeah, and it's funny because like two of those dudes came from like a heavier band, and then as soon as that band ended, they went to Hideout.
Yeah, it's just like how it goes,
Yeah.
right? Like, And yeah, so we started playing a ton of shows together. We did a couple like short little runs together and stuff, but we became like very quick friends. And I still talk to all those guys today. And
Nice.
Sometimes bump into each other at shows. Sometimes just like the random text of like thinking about them, whatever. But all
Yeah.
great guys, and I love them to pieces.
I'd love to have Dennis on. I haven't seen him in years.
He's moved to Portland, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in Portland, Maine now.
Yeah, during like the pandemic, I think he relocated up there.
Yep.
Yep.
He popped down for the show we did at the Mideast
With Wilhelm,
He came down like out of nowhere and was there. And
He's a great dude. We lived up like a block away from each other. We rode the school bus together. We met.
Really?
We met in like 7th grade.
Oh
yeah.
man, he's
Yep.
such a sweetie. There's people you meet being in bands where like you feel like if you lived next door to them, you would just be like hang out with them every day.
Yeah.
He is one of those people for me where like I mean, I love all those guys, but Dennis specifically, like he and I click in a way where like if he was just around,
Mm-hmm.
I would just be hanging out with him all the time.
100%. We were like inseparable through high school. Yeah, he's a good dude.
It's funny because when he showed up to that show, I had not seen him since obviously like pre-pandemic. 'Cause it was 2022, and I hadn't seen him since like they played Salem in 2019, and he had long hair.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
was just
yeah.
one of those like, who's this guy in the crowd? It's like, who's this guy who's like kind of John at Kevin? It's like, oh shit, that's fucking Dennis.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he started playing like I had played guitar in like 5th grade and up, and I played guitar in the first couple bands I was in, and then that band Dying For It I was singing in, and you know, we had some lineup changes, and I was like, Dennis, you should learn how to play bass, and he like learned how to play bass and joined the band, and then like he seamlessly at the same time he was like learning how to play bass in, you know, at high school age, he just immediately learned how to play guitar. And I had 2 guitars at the time, and I was singing in the band and not playing guitars. I'm like, dude, just like keep this at your house and fiddle with it. And then like the second we had an opening for a guitarist, he like moved right onto that, and it just clicked. And his writing was so good. He's just such a super talented guy. For someone who didn't start music at like a young age, he just was naturally talented at it. It was unbelievable watching him like develop that.
He's a sweetheart of a guy, and
And the fact that he can sing and play guitar. I've talked about that so many times. Like
I can't do it.
As someone who played guitar at a young age and sang in a band, it's like, you know, rubbing your belly and your head at the same time. Like I cannot do it. If I'm strumming, my mouth can't open, or vice versa. Like there's it just can't happen.
And he's got just like a unique voice where he can sort of do that almost like emo-y thing, but then there's enough like there's a little bit of like sandpaper on it, so he
Yeah.
can do the punk thing, and he kind of blends it really, really well. He's one of my favorite voices, like in
Yeah, he
this
can put the
scene.
sauce on it when he needs to.
Oh, he absolutely can. He's so good. He's so good live too. It's like he's one of those guys who's like, this kind of sounds like the record.
I love that band. Like we did a show right after Thanksgiving
20 the Saturday after
in
Thanksgiving.
2023, and with Save Ends and Hell Beach, and I asked the guys from the Hideout, like they hadn't played a show in a long time. I was like, will you come
Yeah.
up and play Obies? And the place was sold out nuts to butts before they even started. And it was just awesome because there was like a bunch of old heads that like hadn't like were all up front, be like play the ones that we want to hear, and then
Yeah.
they did, and it was
Just
awesome.
the other bands up front
It was-
screaming
it was-
at them.
it was
Yeah.
so much
That it
fun.
could have been a Hideout headlining show.
Seriously, it was so
like
much fun.
seriously,
yeah.
like they absolutely, and it was just like so good. Like, you know, I hadn't seen those dudes, seen those dudes at shows, but had not seen the 4 of those guys playing music in
Years.
at that point 4 years,
Yeah.
and it felt really nice.
It was awesome.
Well, I think for both of these bands, I mean, the Humanity and the Hideout now, it's like you're looking at the timeline. You know, you guys said you started in 2012, so you're looking at, you know, over a decade. How did you have some ebbs and flows of that? Have you had points of hiatus? And I guess the most important thing, let's start with Kyle and Kevin. What do you guys play or do?
I sing. He plays bass and sings.
Yep.
No hiatus. We've certainly had points where we're more active, like more in like playing shows mode or more in writing. mode, whatever. But no like actual time off other than COVID. We probably were at like our peak activity touring wise in like 2016 to 2018 probably. And then when COVID hit, we had a full length in the can. So like literally like the week before lockdown started, we did our last bit of tracking for our last LP. And then
Did you hold it back?
yeah, we had to sit in it for like a year. Well, because no one wanted to put out vinyl.
Yeah, you
'cause
don't want-
no one knew what the deal was. Like
Yeah.
in retrospect, everyone was clamoring for content. So like, whatever.
Yeah, that's when people started collecting vinyl that never did.
But like,
Yeah.
I understand why people were like hesitant from a business perspective. Like,
Well, yeah, it's like, oh, if we can't play it, we can't put these records on a table. I don't want to print them.
So it's not even that. It's that people weren't working. They weren't sure if they're going to get paid. Like, no one's
Yeah.
spending money on vinyl. They're waiting for
plants-
the eggs to come out.
The
you
bands
know?
were taking like 6 to 8 months to just make.
that's the
Yeah.
thing. All
Yeah.
the big bands were doing reissues of their back catalog to make ends meet, and so like to for a little band like us to do a 300 count run of something. Was,
Besides the fact that there's only like 5 vinyl plants in the
Yeah,
world
so
left now.
That's
yeah.
the thing. So like we had a bunch of time to sit on it, and luckily, Hell-Minded, this small label from New Jersey, took a flyer on us and helped us put it out. But they're like, we should give it some time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so we released it in early 2021. But
Now, that's a tough thing because, we've had a lot of bands on the show, and a lot of the time, one of the things you hear is like, we spent so long writing this record, and like by the time the record comes out, we're already writing a new record. Now, you guys had 3 years usually when people say a statement like that, they're talking 6 months. Were you guys like over those songs, or were you still like pumped on it?
yeah, I'll say, I think the reason why this record sounds the way it does, our new one,
Yeah.
is because we had to sit on that one and find all the things we hated about it.
So
And
you had time to stew on it.
a year,
Yeah.
a literal year to sit on it and just listen to it. And listen, like, I love that record. I love the songs in that record. I'm not shitting on it.
Yeah.
And it's,
But when you have 3 years where you're not playing these songs live, people's relationship with music is very different. Your relationship with practicing in person, I'm sure, was delayed.
Yeah.
There's a lot of variables to
it's
it that are
just
different.
And
Yeah.
there's always things. I mean, Kyle records bands, Andy's in bands, so like he knows. Like there's always things you want to take back and change.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when we finally got back to playing shows, it was like 500 something days without shows when we finally got back to playing. And when we played that first show back, there was definitely a feeling of like, we're not taking this shit for granted, and we're taking it as seriously as a bunch of knuckleheads that we are and old friends could take this, because like we are a bunch of ball busting friends, like, first, and then we are also happen to be in a band together.
Yeah.
But like there was kind of like this was taken from us for a year and a half, like, let's make the next thing as good as it possibly can be, you know, kind of thing. And so like I'm super proud of that record, but I think this record shows like all of us, not to be like dramatic about it, but like giving it our all, like everybody's like, okay, cool. Like, so we got to redo on that last thing. And so like, let's make this.
Yeah, and
kick
this
as much ass
record's
as
ground to
possible.
dust, right?
Yep.
Where did you guys record this one?
In New Bedford with Trev Riley from A Wilhelm Scream. He's got a studio in his house,
Nice.
Anchor End Studio. And he's recording a bunch of bands from the area now. And we spent
Wow, there's 2 Trevors in New Bedford with recording studios in their house. Yeah.
how many days total? It was like
27.
27
I have it
days.
on my phone.
Oh, shit.
I'm gonna look it up. Yeah, because from being an engineer, I have like a notebook when I do sessions, and I keep things like, if you go through my notebook, it's like when I'm doing my own like records for bands that come to me, it's like, oh, like what I'm using for drum mics and what I'm going through for preamps and compress. And I kind of did the same thing with our record because I just have to do it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
somewhere
it's
on
just
my,
habit.
I think it's on my notes app where I have every single fucking day we were down there, because I was just like, I just wanted to have it just because then I'll have it, But I got to go back to like 2023 to find it. But yeah, it was something like 27 or.
Was that like
28 days.
consecutive?
No. So like we did a block at the beginning to do drums and
Do like a week-long block or something.
And then we did a block of guitars. Then Kyle came down and did a couple days of bass. And then the way Trev likes to work is we do like 2 days back to back of vocals. So I would go down. There it is.
27.
He's got it. 27. And so I would come down like a Thursday, Friday back to back, or like a Sunday, Monday back, whatever. Like I've got a kid and a wife and a job, so
Yeah,
like,
it's tough. You get a
whatever,
career. Yeah, you
whatever
get a life
time
to
that
juggle.
Is
And
that
then-
for your voice to like stay like ready, for lack of a better term?
Well, that was what I was going to ask, because there's a sweet spot. There's when you're completely fresh after you haven't practiced or played out in a while, and then it's like after like the first day you're feeling really good, and the second day you might be at your prime. What's your opinion with that?
So when Trev told me he likes to do back-to-back days, I was like, I don't know if this is.
Are you like the fresh day is the good day?
I'm a blow my voice out guy.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
will. I'll give it. I'll
Second
give it
song,
all.
you're fucked.
But then,
Yeah.
but then a couple hours later, I'm like, oh no. And Trev's like, listen, like you just got to be ready.
I remember my first weekender by like Saturday. I was like,
Well, I'm usually if we do 10 days on tour by day 6 or 7, I'm
not
not
talking in the
talking
van.
during the day.
Yeah.
I'm saving it for the show. But you know, like,
drinking warm milk.
but this is the first time we really got input from someone outside of the band before recording. So like we went down and talked to Trev in the spring, and we showed him all the demos of the songs. Like we multi-tracked, demoed everything with Kyle, and you know, he gave some input. He's like, "This is strong. This could use some work. This feels like a background part more than a primary vocal." Like you know, like friendly stuff. Like
Yeah,
because
yeah,
we
yeah.
asked him for
Constructive
input,
criticism,
but we
yeah.
never had like someone like producing in that way, like kind of someone outside the band giving that kind of input.
Yeah, and even where Kyle does record bands, it's like where you're in the band, you can't have like a completely outside opinion on it, I imagine, right?
Yeah, and like we do bounce stuff all the time.
Yeah, I've like this was the first record I've done in
Oh, yeah, we should probably say that.
this is the first record I've done in like almost 2 decades that I like in one of my bands that I haven't been the engineer.
Yeah.
So I have
Did you hate that?
no, it actually wasn't bad. I mean, I still like occasionally like he would be like, yo, I'm gonna go get a coffee, and I would just like hop behind the desk and do stuff, or
Yeah.
it was some like additional. I would like if he's like, oh, you know, when we were like doing drum tracks and stuff, and he'd be like, all right, they start recording the next song, and he would like hand me the Pro Tools session, and I would like edit
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
like comp that drum track while they were doing the new one. So I still did a little bit of that, but it wasn't bad because I don't often get a chance to just be like the talent.
Yeah.
I'm usually that guy. So I feel like I can. It is you sort of have to work with 2 sides of your brain because you're like, you have that thing where like, well, these are my songs and this is my art, but I also have to treat my own band as a client.
Yes.
So I feel like me personally, I can do that pretty well, but it is nice to just have someone take that off your plate. So I can sort of, if I want to sit on the couch and get stoned and not have to think.
Yeah,
I
it's
can
like
just do
Jesus
that.
take the wheel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Also, this is Kyle's first album playing with the band, like recording something
Oh,
with
really?
the band. So like Kyle has been filling in on tours and stuff when our original bass player couldn't make it for a long time.
Yep.
And then around like the return from COVID, Andy, shout out Andy, I love you, decided to like focus on family and
Yeah.
work and stuff. And then Kyle became the full-time guy. So Kyle's been the full-time guy for 3+
That's always
years
a
now.
really interesting thing that I like to hear about people's perspectives of in different bands. You know, everybody between the ages of 30 and 50 in bands, it's a weird time. Everybody's in a different place in their life, but for the most part, everybody's got some sort of responsibility. And finding a day isn't hard, but taking a day that 5 people can all be in the same place at the same time.
A day that 5 people can show up.
Is really tricky, and I always find that to be really impressive. How often do you guys? I know obviously probably early on you practiced like every week, but now it's like how often you guys getting together to really play together? Still once a week.
Yeah, just pretty much like every Thursday, unless we would normally be practicing tonight, but we got this, and like our drummer's on a work trip, so it's like we pretty much find it, for the most part it's Thursdays. We just get together.
I feel
sort
like
of
weekly's the
routine.
sweet spot. If it's less than that, it's like it gets
It's
weird.
like we all have setups at home. So for like myself and like Jim and Chris, the 2 guitar players, like Chris lives a 10-minute drive from me. We all live like within an hour from each other, but like as far as like writing stuff, we all just kind of come up with ideas at home, and then
You can write and then ship 'em
bring it
around.
to practice. So
Yeah.
it's like we don't need to get together really more than once a week, and even that, it's like, well, these are
Once
like,
a week's pretty good,
these are also
honestly.
like 4 of my best friends, so it's like, well, I want to hang out with those dudes once a week anyway, so
Yeah.
I might as well be like, making noise when I'm doing it.
Yep.
It's nice to have a day where like this is what's happening.
Yeah, it's like routine.
Now, where do you guys all live? You're in Salem.
Chris is in Beverly. We have another Chris that's in Roslindale. We have Jim who's in Haverhill, and I'm in Hudson, Mass.
Okay, so you're kind
You're
of all
kind
the
of the
same.
oddball out. Like you're the one farthest.
Yeah, I mean,
away.
we all met like, Jim and Kyle went to high school together. They've known each other for a long time, and then
Along with Andy.
yep, and then the rest of us kind of met in college-ish time. We all we are all UML or UML adjacent.
Yep.
And so all of us went different ways. Like my wife's from Tingsboro and I'm from Western Mass, so Hudson just is like kind of the center between those two, which is the only reason I live there.
Dude, you guys used to be in Wakefield. It was so much nicer.
It was way nicer. But everybody didn't live in Salem then. Everyone moved out of Boston and moved up to the North Shore after I left.
I was in Salem.
Bastards.
So where do you guys practice?
Up in Drake it. Yeah.
Okay.
Our friends.
So it's a good 40. We just like a friend's business basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll just leave it at that.
yeah.
I'm
But yeah,
worried about
we've
giving
been there
details.
forever, and it's kind of equidistant for all of us.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
half
like-
hour,
it's like a
40
minute
ish.
drive for everyone.
Minutes,
It's
so.
not bad.
Yeah, it's cool. And then like right now with a new record out, like we could either work on some new stuff or get tight for tour or like whatever. It's like it's a lot less pressure than like gearing up for recording where it's like,
Yeah.
fuck, we got to get
Now the
these
record
songs
just
ready.
came out. Was it early this? Earlier this month.
A week ago, 6 days ago.
Week
Yeah,
ago
a week ago tomorrow.
6 days
They
ago.
grow up so fast.
They do.
6 days ago. You
Years
got,
of work and now it's
you have
just
2 singles out from that record now. 3.
we had
Okay.
3. The whole thing's out there now. But
Yep.
yeah. I mean,
But are the 2 like primary singles were the launch songs for it, right?
Yeah.
yeah. And then we did one more right before Christmas, and then yeah, it's out now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now all 10 fucking songs are out now. So
You hit it on the streaming platforms.
Please. Yeah, it's weird.
What's the best streaming platform? What do you guys? You're a recording engineering guy. I assume you hate Spotify. They all do.
Yep. I hate Spotify on like
You an
several
Apple
music-
podcast,
I'm a-
Apple guy, or a Tidal guy?
I'm a Tidal guy.
Yeah, I
because
feel like
it's-
most guys into music.
Fuck is Tidal?
So Tidal was started by I forget who started Tidal.
Some hip hop person, I
I think
think.
Jay-Z had a
Yeah,
hand in it.
yeah.
So Tidal is basically it's very similar to Spotify. They do pay artists like slightly better. The cool thing about Tidal is, like Spotify,
It doesn't decimate the compression of the
like
audio.
MP3s, like
Yeah.
shitty MP3s. Tidal, you can stream like full resolution
Yeah.
like files. So it
Like,
like
like very
better-
few normal people will ever notice the difference.
Yeah.
But recording
In their
engineering guys,
AirPods.
yeah.
Well, yeah, but if you're
Yeah.
listening on like a wired connection, like on your phone or just anything, like it objectively does sound better. It's like that thing of like when MP3s first came out. It's like when like CDs came out and people who came from vinyl was like, this sounds like shit.
Yeah.
And then when MP3s came out, people who were used to CDs were like, this sounds like shit.
Yep.
It's closer to it's about as close.
It's more of a wave format quality.
It is a wave format quality,
Yeah.
and you can get it basically. It's about as digitally. It's about as close you could get to actually listening to like a vinyl analog waveform. So for me, it's worth the extra couple of shekels a month for it. It's like it's better.
Does it still have like that? That was why I didn't like Apple Music, because some of like the obscure fucking toilet vocal rubbish bands I like weren't on Apple Music, but they were on Spotify.
It's gotten better. It's gotten better. When I've been on Tidal.
What
for
do you
a few
mean?
Years
Yeah,
now.
no.
I mean,
I
that's-
listened to some fucking like caveman, ignorant, noisy
like
bullshit.
Brodequin or something like that.
Like just dumb shit, dumb shitty death
Yeah.
metal stuff.
Well, I'd
Like,
say-
can I get Corpse Pile on Tidal? Like,
Maybe.
Give me a
like,
minute.
can I get Restrictor Plate on Tidal?
It's so
Like, I need to
it's
know.
definitely
Oh,
not
that's the
as-
NASCAR band,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
so funny.
It's definitely not as it doesn't have as much just because not a lot of people know about it, but most of
Yeah.
like if you upload your stuff on like
No,
DistroKid or CD Restrictor Plate.
yeah, Restrictor
Oh,
Plate is heavy
little
as
nitromethane
fuck.
tipsy, you
yeah.
know, like stuff like that. Yeah.
Restrictor Plate
But
rules.
it's
fucking
gotten better.
hilarious.
I've been on Tidal for a few years, and like when I first started, it was one of those things like this isn't fucking worth it. Like it
No,
wasn't.
you
as
know who
much
just
stuff,
put
but now
Shane,
there's a lot of
the
stuff
Dregs
on there.
Wicked Light Show, the guy that does the lights at Widowmaker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Shane is the homie. He's been on the podcast too. That dude fucking rules. Yeah, he posted like a whole like fuck Spotify thing, and I'm like,
I mean, it's like they're all even Tidal, like they're still not paying artists what they should be, because
Yeah.
it's just like that's the model. But like, I mean, for me, it's that. It's that thing where like I use that stuff to find bands I like, and then I will just buy it on Bandcamp, where I can give the artist my $10 directly.
Yeah.
and then even when you buy stuff on Bandcamp, you can download the WAV files and have it full resolution, and it sounds
And then you have
good.
it.
and
'Cause
then
you'll
just have it.
Here's what I'll say. Listen to the whole song if you like the band.
Yeah.
Even if you heard it 100 times. Let it play
Let
the whole
the
time.
track play
regardless
through.
We gotta
of
feed
what
that
platform.
algorithm.
You have to.
We got to play that
You
game.
have
and feed
to.
that algorithm.
That feeds the algorithm.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, well, that's
Kyle and I were talking about it eating wings before we came over here. Like I hate the whole Spotify.
Did you guys get Honeybird?
thing. We went to Sky, whatever there's a pub right here.
Oh.
It was fine.
The,
They
the
were doing
little
75
Irish
cent
pub
wings.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always drive when we drive by that
Skiffs.
place. Skiffs, yes.
That's what it was.
You
Yeah,
got
it
to
was
try
fine.
Honeybird right there.
All right.
Honeybird, it slaps. It's good
Have us
shit.
back. We'll come
I've
back.
heard Skiffs is good too.
Okay.
Local people from here. I work with a lot of people that live around here, and they said Skiffs is good.
All
It
right.
was fine. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, they were nice, and wings were hot. And
They didn't put
crispy
my
and-
Guinness in a frosty mug.
That's
so
good.
it's, you know,
Nice preheated right out of the dishwasher mug.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But like it sucks. None of
Yeah.
us want to be on Spotify. We don't want to, but like the fact of the matter is
The masses.
But you
listen
gotta
to
be.
more
Spotify.
people have heard our
Right.
record in the last week than would have heard it with a year of us touring.
It's a
so
necessary
it's,
evil.
it's,
Right.
it's
It's
like
just the way you have to do it. You have to play that game.
and I'm so grateful that people get to hear it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like the fact that platform exists and that people like, yes, I'd love to get paid for the art that I create, but
And
like,
you know what? If it was 20 years ago, it would have been on MySpace Music, and you still wouldn't have been making
Or like
money on Bandcamp.
mp3.com or something.
Yeah.
That's how I came up. But it's like
Charlie and I, MySpace Music.
that
was
is
the shit
I
back then.
found a lot of bands. I found out about the Faceless through MySpace Music. Like
Yeah.
I found out a lot about, but it's like,
Yeah.
you know, that's just how it is now. And the trade-off is you will find out. And the same thing with like back in the MySpace Music or the mp3.com days, it's like, you're going to find out about bands you wouldn't have found out because back in like the 80s and 70s, it's like, or the 90s, like regional bands were just regional bands, and you still had to getting on the road was important.
Yeah, if you weren't like Aerosmith or Metallica,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was like,
you were just a local band.
but it was that thing of like, this is because of Spotify, like I can find out about some, like, especially it helps with touring because it's like you find out you'll be looking at bands like, oh, we're going to,
Like, let me hit the daily mix combined with this band.
We're playing
and, yeah.
Cleveland. Like, who the fuck do we know in Cleveland? And like Facebook and
Yeah.
Instagram, you can find bands from those scenes and stuff. So the internet has made it's harder if you want to get paid for your stuff and like make a living on it. But it's cool if you want people to like just find out about it. Like we'll have people come up to us like when we play Fest or Pooza Fest, or I mean, I was at Pooza Fest last year in Montreal, waiting to get into one of the shows, and some dude was walking down the street with an All the Humanity shirt, and I was just like, "Hey man, nice shirt." I don't think he knew I was in the band. He was like, "Oh yeah, these guys are great." And he just kept on walking. I was like, "Cool, man." Yeah, it's
awesome.
just like, motherfucker.
it's like, thanks the internet.
He was like, "I wish they were playing this."
I'm just a
weekend." I was like,
faceless band on the internet. Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm glad you bought the shirt.
Right,
Like,
right. At least he's buying the merch, right?
You know, had Charlie's artwork on it.
Yeah.
It did.
And who remembers the bassist? Let's be honest.
I mean, I'm sure
Also,
like
Oh the
Geddy
Humanity's
Lee
a
or,
great
like-
fucking name.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna lie.
Now, are you a guitarist by trade or are you a bassist by trade?
I'm a bassist by trade.
Okay,
He
that's
shreds
good.
like a guitarist on bass.
You slap on a bass.
I was a trumpet player in middle school.
Same.
Same dog.
Yeah, and then I kind of stopped with that, and like the story was like I was like the world's biggest Metallica fan when I was growing up. I
Yep.
still fucking love that band. Master of Puppets is my favorite album of all time.
See, I'm a Ride the Lightning guy.
Red Lightning's great. I wanted to play guitar. My parents were like, "Oh, when you graduate like 8th grade, we'll get you a guitar." You know what
Yep.
I mean? Make sure you're serious about it, because I quit the trumpet, and they were like, "Well, we don't want to, you know."
Yeah.
Like, if you still want to do it when you graduate 8th grade, we'll get you a guitar. And I rented the Cliff 'Em All VHS at my local Blockbuster, and it was just like, that might be Kevin.
You know the door that says "Don't open it"? The alarm will sound.
Yeah.
I opened it.
You
Oh,
asshole.
Sorry, guys.
So
no. I'll call the guy to fix it.
I rented the Cliff 'Em All VHS.
It's on the right before you get to that door. Yeah.
from my local Blockbuster, and then I saw Cliff Burton shredding on the bass, and I was like, "Dad, I don't want to play
That's the
guitar.
guy, yeah.
I want to play bass. That's way cooler." And then because I figured like less people I knew played bass, so I was like, I could probably have an easier time getting in a band because everyone I knew played guitar. And I was like, less people are doing this. Drums sound really expensive, and there's a lot of noise, and I know my parents didn't want a drum.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So I was like, I'll just play bass. It's great. So yeah, I learn how to play guitar like way later, but I am not a like failed guitar. And I know a lot of bass players, there's nothing wrong with that, who are like, "Oh, I played guitar, I wasn't good, so I played bass," or whatever. Like I came at bass first. I like went to college for it and studied that and stuff like that. So
Nice.
I still love it.
You were born to play the rhythm section, right? So
Yeah, it's
like-
great.
Some
It's
people
great.
just have
bass
that.
is cool because it's one of those things where you're like, yeah, you guys can do what you want, but until I change my mind, we're in fucking C. And like, it's like until I change my mind, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, This is where we're gonna live right
this is
here.
what we're doing.
We're in
man.
the rocking chair,
Yeah,
baby.
Yeah, it's fine. I love it because it's like because I can sort of bridge those gaps. I can do like sort of guitar based stuff, but then I love like locking in with my drummer and just like laying that stuff down.
Yep.
It's fun. So
I always ask because like so many times the bassist is like a friend of the band and they're actually a guitarist and like, dude, we need a bassist. And it's like, fuck it, I could play bass.
It's half the strings. We got this.
yeah, right. It's like it's easier. It's not. It's different. It's just different. And you can always tell. You can always tell a bass player, and this isn't like a dig, but like you can always tell a bass player who is a guitar player who's playing bass and a bass player who is a bass player because like they do play and approach the instrument a little bit differently.
I'm sure the guitar player's trying to run up and down the strings or whatever.
It's a lot of times is what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, you don't have to show everyone what you can do. You just see what the kick drum is. Like when I did the bass line, when I record bass in general, because everything's Pro Tools and it's visual, I have the end, like if it's me doing it or like when we did it with Trevor, I had Trevor zoom in on Teeny, our drummer, his kick drum track. And I was just like, every time he hits his kick drum,
Oh,
I
that
am
gets
hitting
you.
a note.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want and because we're so fast, it can ease like because we play really fast, we play a lot of stuff, and I do lock in with guitars a lot. But it's that thing of like it can kind of get unglued real quickly, and so it's just like I always want to make sure that like whenever Teeny's hitting his kick drum, I'm also hitting like a note on my bass. So it's like I want to keep that anchor, and then everyone else can just do stuff on top of it. And there's like it's sort of grounded, you know.
I feel like bass is one of those things too that people that don't necessarily understand music theory or composition will listen to a song and they'll know that they like it and that it sounds great and they won't know why. They'll never know it's you. You know what I mean? It's
the
like
unsung heroes.
yeah. They'll never know it's the bassist, but it's like, wow, this is like really tight. And it's like
you see those things on like YouTube where they'll take like a Parliament track.
yeah.
The multi-track stems and they mute Bootsy Collins.
Yep.
And you're like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Where's because that's where the funk's coming from.
Yeah.
You know? Or it's like, you know, people dog on like Michael Anthony because he's simple as shit when he plays, but it's like, dude, Michael Anthony is like the perfect bass player for that band. Like
Yeah.
that band.
You had Eddie Van Halen. Like you don't need Michael
you don't
Anthony.
Need that. And
You
that
don't need
band
anything
with,
fancy.
That band with any other bass player
Yeah.
just wouldn't work. Like
You
that
needed a
dude's
bass
just
player
laying
who
it
was
down.
confident enough to just sit in the background and do.
What's the thing is you have to know what not to do.
Right.
That's as important. And that's with music in general. Like you just have to know what not to do. And that's as important as like knowing what to do.
Well, it's funny because like watching my son try to learn drums, and he'll try to listen to a song and play it, but then he's like playing, but he's like he'll play the rhythm, he gets out of the rhythm, but he's trying to play the bass track.
We're trying to play along with the
Sometimes
guitars.
he's trying to play along with the guitars when he's not supposed to be. So like that's like it's a very hard I would say genre. It's a very hard like tool to grasp as someone learning how to play is like to eliminate what you're not supposed to do and just be in your zone.
Yeah, listen to AC/DC. Phil
Yeah.
Rudd never plays drum fills.
No.
It's kick, snare, hat. Once in a while, if he's feeling adventurous, he'll hit a crash at the beginning of a chorus, but it's just fucking
Yeah.
kick, snare, hat. And I'm like, yeah, that's perfect.
Because again, they had
He doesn't need to do anything else.
yeah,
It's
you
that-
don't need you had what's his name bouncing around the fucking
Yeah,
stage.
you got Angus doing his
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Like it's all you got to do is just like, I just want pocket. And like, I love going off and
And it depends on
playing
what band
fills
you're in
and
too, right? So like
going
some
insane.
bands it's drum heavy, some bands it's bass heavy, some bands it's guitar heavy. Like it just depends on what band you're in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the biggest Rush fan in the world, and everyone, you know, Neil Peart was amazing, and he could do all this stuff. But like, you listen to like 90% of Rush tunes, and he's just grooving. He's in the pocket, and he'll go off when he needs to, but he's like serving that song, and like that's just what I
think
want anyone.
Part of his appeal is he had 400 drums.
He
up
did,
there.
he
Yeah.
did, but most of the time he was playing like 3 of them.
Exactly.
You know, he was just doing his thing.
He's either playing one corner or the other corner or right in the middle. Like it just depends on which way he's facing.
But if you put him on a 4-piece kit, he could still do the
Of course
thing.
he could.
still because he's that good. All the good ones can.
we
do
were
that.
up. Were you with us? Oh, you didn't come to Wolfscar
No.
last year. We went to this bar in Wolfscar. We went to the car show in Vermont. It was in Burlington, and we were downtown, and we were at this brewery called Four Quarters. And we walk in, and it's just a random Saturday afternoon, and it was a 3-piece band playing. These were children. They were like 15 or 16 years
Yeah.
old, and they were just playing jazz music.
That's awesome.
No words, just
doing the thing.
This kid is playing a 3-piece. He had like a bass drum, a snare, and a hi-hat, and he was just playing with the whisks like he was doing all the stuff. And these fucking guys were really good, like
Yeah.
just grooving out, and it was such a relaxing, like cool vibe, and like to watch
I love
kids
that
that
shit.
age
Yep.
being so into the jazz music was really cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, if I walk into a bar or anytime there's like a band like that, like a what I would call like a background music band, like you meant to just do that. They were like a general business like cover band. If I walk in and I see like a drummer like that who's playing like a 3-piece drum kit, I'm like, this is gonna be the best drummer I've ever seen.
Right.
Yep.
Because like that they don't need all
Resisting the
they're just
urge
like-
to run around the kit is
but they're gonna
a
get so much
thing.
music out of that. Like I used to work with this wedding band. I used to work with like a few wedding bands in the Boston area, and like I did this one gig, and the band had a sub, like a fill-in drummer, and he showed up. It was kick, snare, hi-hat, ride cymbal, no toms. And I remember he was setting up his stuff. He's like, "Oh, do you need to go back to get to the rest of the kit?" He's like, "No, this is it." And I was like, "This is gonna be the best fucking drummer I've ever worked with." And he was, and he just crushed it. Just got so much music out of that because he's just like, and not to say like anyone who plays with like a big kit is bad. A big kit is like a bad drummer or anything like that. Like that's great. But like when you see somebody who is just like, "No, this is what I do," and it's just like this little thing, and this is all I got going
Yep.
on, and it's like. That's always
Like,
fun.
he showed up with a backpack. Like, all right, this is going to be interesting. Let's
No,
see
it's
what you
great.
got here. Yeah.
I remember
It's
the first
fantastic.
time it was Cooked Alive's first show. First of all, their first show, they had a backline and a sound guy, which is like,
Sure.
this is your first show? What the fuck? And they showed up with 2 bass drums, and I'm like, this guy's not going to carry 2 bass drums after this show. It's going to last like maybe 2 or 3 shows. Sure enough, it did. He's down to 1 now.
Every so often, I look at like those. I see like those Ampeg fridge cabs, the classic.
Yeah, the 8x10.
And they're great.
That's a rite of passage. You need to drag that thing up a set of
Never owned
basement
one.
stairs.
I've never owned one. And
You gotta do it. It's the law.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm almost. I'm 38. My back is already getting bad. I'm going smaller. If
You need to have one that has no black vinyl on one side because that's the side you dragged it up the
That's
stairs.
the you dragged up the stairs.
Yeah.
But every once
You
in a
need
while,
exposed
I'm like,
wood on
maybe
one
I
side.
because they sound great. And every time I'm in a venue or there's one that gets offered to be backlined, I will play it because it's the best
Yeah.
sounding cab in the world. Nothing sounds.
That's
like
what
that.
Dennis had.
But I have like every time I'm hitting like the add to cart when I see one on Reverb, and then
Yeah.
I'm just like, no,
Can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah.
I'd have to get a bigger car. Like it won't fit in my car.
Give
I
me a
measure-
Suburban to drag that thing
Seriously,
around.
I have like a little hatchback, like a little Toyota hatchback. I'm like, I would have to own a bigger car to fit this. I'm not doing it. I just can't do it.
I just think
Yeah.
of the stairwell at Charlie's, trying to haul one of those up that stairwell.
Charlie's in Harvard Square.
Fuck
Yup.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, never.
Oh man, we dragged Dennis's up and down so many flights of stairs. His had like no vinyl left on it by the time we were done.
Oh, it's
See what now? What's so? All right, vocals. The band that you guys are in now. You said you always played with heavier bands before. Were you in other bands before, Kevin?
Yeah, like I was in a bunch of goofball high school bands, and then
You were singing in bands before.
I was playing guitar,
Okay.
mostly, and then in college I was in a ska band that did a bunch of touring, and I was like the backup singer.
Okay.
And
Please tell me you danced with suspenders on, because that would be fucking amazing.
I didn't.
Oh, that's a shame.
Damn it.
But we did like a 2-month tour in 2006. Like we were like hitting the road hard.
Pretty
hard.
good. That's good.
And then
that was like the sweet spot. I was like, No Doubt, Sublime, like all those bands are kind of coming off the end of the.
and it was like right before like cell phone, like you had to have a cell phone all the time, so you still had the freedom of just like being gone.
directions.
Like
Yeah.
no one could get you. You had to
Yep.
print out your directions.
There wasn't that many memes about ska bands back then.
I mean, but we got back from that tour, and our singer quit. And I remember, I mean, he was a dick, but he quit. And
Fuck them.
No offense, but a lot of singers.
If you want to shout them out, yeah.
he's from this area. And
He's right behind you.
I'm sure he's changed. We've all changed. I'm sure you're better than you were. Hopefully you are. And that's a shame.
I would stop telling people that, dog.
Oh, Paul McGrath is all. How weird is it that Paul McGrath and Jeff are both from the UK, and they both have names that are spelled different than they sound. His name is McGrath.
Oh, well,
Isn't that something?
You guys should hang out.
G off,
Paul and
G
Jan.
off over
Geoff
here.
and Paul McGraw.
Dude, the English. Shout out to the English for like inventing a language and then
Just
fucking
not
saying
using
it
it.
wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm from Boston. Like,
Yeah. They invented a set of rules and then like fuck the
they
rules.
just broke
Yeah.
out.
Oh, that's great.
The guitar player in my partner.
I'm gonna
Helen's
end
band
the
is
story.
English
Yeah,
shit out of
yeah.
it.
But basically, we booked a gig. and
Tell
we-
us about how that guy's a big piece of shit.
we didn't have a singer, and my bandmates got me like completely fucked up at this bar before the show, and they're like, "You're the singer now."
You're the singer
and I was
now.
like, "I'm not." And they're like,
You're the kid. I'm the
they're
kid.
like, no,
Yeah.
like no, we've decided you are. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't do that. And they're like, nope, you are. So we went and played that show, and it didn't go great. And then subsequent shows went, I guess, better. But that was
Well,
like
screaming, I'm not the singer and crying halfway through the song is probably not the best way to go. Yeah.
and then I took a few years off of being in bands, and then we've all been friends forever. And these guys were cooking something up, and one of the guys hit me up and was like, "Hey, you should come by practice, and like here's what the demos sound like, whatever." And then after the first practice, it was over.
I'm looking at.
Is he
Paul.
gonna guess? Oh, I thought he was gonna guess it.
Yes, he is.
I said it before you were in the chat anyway because your name is just like Paul. You did the same. I'm not John. I'm just John Stairs as one word. It's
Paul,
kind of the
I
same
thought
thing.
I thought that's how we got free web hosting is because he says your name every time.
I gave a 10-minute Cardinal Creative Agency plug at the beginning of the episode and probably said your full name numerous times. But I guess where I was going with this was, your band requires a significantly more amount of vocal range than like just a regular yelly, screamy band.
Yeah.
And I guess it's one of those things where it's like if you don't have formal vocal training, I assume, right? Or you did.
I went to UMass Lowell for music. I was a trumpet player.
Yep.
But I was required to take oral skills for 2 years. So like I did
Oh, okay,
I did
cool.
get some amount of I
Basic
didn't know I was going to use it.
Yeah.
I was just doing it because I had to do it. But
Yeah.
like in retrospect,
paid off.
It did help
I mean,
a bit, I
trumpet's all
guess.
about breath control and
Yeah,
as
so,
is
like-
singing and stuff.
And the speed of the music you're playing, breath control is huge.
And like understanding what intervals feel like knowing what a fifth feels like whatever, nerd. But like
Yeah.
like understanding like the note you want to sing before you sing it, like that kind of thing, like that. Those classes taught me that. I didn't know I was going to put it to any use. Or
And then
whatever.
obviously writing and what you can do recording, you want to be able to reproduce it to an extent live. So as much as it would be easy to like chop out breaths and do something that sounds great on the record, do you do that often, or you more so do something that you can reproduce live easily?
Yeah, that's a great question. So up until this record, it was my mentality was I will not record something that I can't do live.
Yep.
And then this record, it was like, okay, well, I'm going to break that rule a little bit as long as we have like a plan.
If you break
So-
that rule in a plan where he can do backup to
That's
fill
exactly,
it,
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's the way to
so
do
it's like,
it.
okay, cool. I'm going to record it this way, but we will alternate during this section.
Yeah, maybe on the record it's you on both tracks. When you guys do it live, you have a backup
Exactly.
singer.
that just
filling.
comes up organically because it was that thing of like, yeah, when making, I remember like you and I had a conversation during the demoing process and it was basically like, yeah, fuck what we can do live. Like, let's make the best sounding record.
I feel like Paul
And
would
then-
love your band.
And then like,
I hope he listens to it.
I hope
Paul-
you do, Paul.
and then like, well, and when I joined the band, like I've been in most of my bands that I've been in before this were always heavier bands. And I was always sort of like the screamy vocalist in most of my bands. So when I joined the band, it was kind of that thing of like, he kind of started, coming to practice like, oh, I kind of have this vocal idea for you. And
Yeah, I'll do
like,
the singing part.
yeah,
you do the
like kind of a
screaming
thing.
part.
And but then
here
like
we
when
go.
we would be like doing these new songs, getting ready to play them live, we'd be at practice and it would come up and be like, oh, could you take this one line in this chorus so I can save a breath,
Breath.
and then do
Yeah.
the next thing. And then and our drummer Teeny also, before I was in the band, he was the other like the harmony backing vocalist. So now there's like three sort of like vocalists with like dedicated parts that we're playing. And so it's one of those when we're-
Having three people able to pull that off in
And-
the band,
and-
I feel like it really lends itself to the style of music.
and it's just
you're
one of those
playing,
like,
too.
Super
so
helpful.
there's like a thing on a chorus where it's like I take a lead line for part of it and then like he, I think, then takes my harmony, and then Teeny takes Kevin. It's like one of those, like, we just like, well, let's shuffle the parts around. And it's basically all like in service to, as long, he's basically like, whatever you don't think you can deliver at full at like what you need to do, like one of us will just take it because it doesn't matter. But then it's also that thing of like, hopefully most of the people who hear your band are going to be listening to the record. Like, you hope your record, because we can only play so many shows, but you want sort of people.
You want the record to be out in the
You
world,
want the record to be, and I want the record to be like the reppers. Like when we play live, it's not a recital. It is a live version of it. So
It's a
And I don't
doesn't
think
matter if
anybody
we're
who
doing
enjoys
Momentar.
music goes
Yeah.
to a concert to hear the record. Like nobody wants to hear the record.
Yeah, that's
I want to hear your interpretation of that
Yeah.
song.
I want to
when you're
feel
there.
the energy.
If I want to
of
listen
the
to the record,
room,
I'll listen
you
to the
know?
record in the fucking car. Like,
yeah,
get up there and have fun.
So it's just a lot of that. There's not as much heed towards.
I'm gonna listen to an MP3
perfectly-
shit compressed version of the car
So there's
on
not as much
Spotify.
heed
Can I yell? Can I have the
towards, like,
was it title? Can I have the title version?
Yeah.
But we don't really pay as much attention to like what we could perfectly reproduce live. I mean, it's like we have a million guitar layers on the record that
Yeah.
we're obviously not doing. So
Yeah.
Also, in a live venue, you're not going to hear that anyway. A lot of that
No,
very
it's-
subtle
it's-
stuff gets lost in
live
just the.
is all about like, we record the album to a click track and we don't play to a click track live because sometimes I'll look at Teeny and like give him the look of like, let's slow this part down a little bit. Let's
Oh, yeah.
like,
That's the
and like,
trickiest thing.
and that stuff is
It's
fun.
like, how do we just play the full record, which I know is 25 minutes long in 18 minutes?
So that's the thing is like sometimes we'll have that thing. We'll be like, no,
Yeah.
I think we like let's do this part a little bit differently live, and like that's kind of what's fun. It's that thing of like I don't need to see a carbon copy of the record. So.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm lucky. I'm lucky to have two guys I can bounce stuff off of, and like I'm a run around, have fun while we're playing kind of singer. So like,
Yeah, you need to have stage presence as a singer, especially. I mean, obviously, it's nice. I've seen, I haven't seen you guys live, but I've seen a lot of video guys playing live, and you all have great stage presence, and I think that's important. You got to have some sort of energy.
yeah, I mean, I'd rather run out of breath because I'm running around like a lunatic, and someone has to pick up a line so I can take a breath, than like stand still and be like, okay, I will deliver you the song now. I hope you
We're
enjoy
not-
it.
we're not
Yeah.
like, it's not like
This is gonna
real
sound
theater,
just like Tidal.
standing still or whatever. It's like, I mean, I'll go see Converge, and they're one of my favorite bands, and Jake Bannon will get like 2 words in a line out, and
Oh,
just,
yeah.
like, but it doesn't matter.
and the rest is just garbage, and
and
it doesn't matter
it,
exactly.
like just he'll like run out of breath, and he'll like put in the microphone in people's face, and it's awesome. I hate, if he just like stood still,
Yeah.
and just tried to deliver those lines perfectly, it wouldn't feel like a Converge show. I need that dude running around,
Mm-hmm.
running out of breath like this, like that's. And they're a hardcore band, like that's part of the vibe.
It's
And,
part
like,
of the vibe.
We're not a hardcore band, but like we have enough.
you have
of
energy.
That it's like we have that energy where it's like, yeah, I love when a vocalist is just sort of putting everything into it, and you can tell that they're like, oh, they're about to like pass out, or they're about to like they're struggling, but it's awesome,
Yep.
It's like you can't recreate that.
Seeing, I got to see his other band, Umbra Vitae.
I love that band. Mike's a good friend of mine, the guitar player.
Oh, yeah,
He's
yeah.
a good dude.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Mike and Greg are just absolute sweethearts.
Yeah, Greg's every one of Greg's 15 bands have played Widowmaker, basically. it's like,
Wormwood, Sexless Marriage.
yeah.
Red
Cord.
Chord, yeah. Like
Yeah,
they're
they've
just-
all played Widowmaker, so.
Yeah, I mean, they're great.
But yeah, seeing Umbra Vitae in the Widowmaker parking lot, I was like from me to Mark in front of Jake, and it was wild. Like I've always been into Converge my whole life, so seeing him that close in a small setting was just nuts. It was a great show.
He's awesome.
Yep.
He's just like a dude still, he's just like still that kid playing punk rock shows. And I love it.
Yep, exactly. Paul, I've enjoyed seeing bands I didn't like that put on a show, and hated seeing bands that I loved because I could have stayed home and listened to them on CD. Yeah, that's a good point. Certain bands lend themselves to one or the other,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. There's been bands where I've heard their records and they didn't do much for me. And then I would see them live on a show, and I was like, I don't want to fucking see this band. And then I'd be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And then on the way home, I'll go listen to that record that I previously didn't care about.
And
now
it's
I'm
different.
like, now it's hitting me different because I just saw the thing live, and I'm like,
It's like, their energy didn't translate to the record.
but then I can, I have
applies
that
it,
thing where I
yeah.
can
Yeah.
sort of, now it clicks with me, it makes sense.
Glassjaw was a band that was like the opposite with like we were talking about like having it sound different. It's fine. Like I was so amazed with how much Glassjaw sounded like the record, but like not in a bad way. Like it was just such like a tight performance for, you know, a 20-year reunion or whatever it was of the album.
That's how Thrice is to me.
Yeah.
I love
Thrice is so. I've seen Thrice a million times. I sometimes do. I work at Big Night Live in Boston. I'm a front of house guy there. We had Thrice come by last year or fall of 2023. You came to that show,
yeah.
And that band is like
Big Night Live is the one at MGM, is it?
no, it's the one at TD Garden. It's not the greatest rock venue. It's more of like an EDM
Okay.
DJ night.
Is
thing.
that the one where
They occasionally
did
put on
Unearth
rock
play
shows.
there recently?
Unearth
Okay,
did
I
play
did.
there.
I went there once. Then, yeah, I saw like
So-
Unearth and Overcast there.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that band is like, they're so just tight.
Yeah,
You could tell me, it's one of those things. Like I feel like I'm listening to a record and not in a bad way. It's like the band is just so on,
yep.
and it's like, oh, you are just really, really trying to make your live show as tight and as good as possible. But it's that sweet spot where it doesn't sound stale.
Yeah,
or, like,
yeah,
boring. It's like,
exactly.
They're so locked in. It's
they're
crazy.
just locked in.
Fucking, I love Black Honey. That's one of my favorite songs.
Yep. Yeah. That's. I mean,
That song
when-
just hits
when
different.
when they got back together after their like little hiatus.
Because
they
yeah,
came
they
out
had
with
an
that
album
record.
years ago.
Yeah, so they did like
They had
they-
like only one really popular song, and I could never find it.
yeah, they broke up in like 2011 or 2012. They took like 3 or 4 years off.
Mm-hmm.
That was one
I
of like
think it was-
Dennis's favorite bands.
I think it's
Thrice
like
and
dudes
Strike
just- I
Anywhere
think
were
it
like
was just, like,
Dennis's
dudes
two
were having
favorite
strike
bands.
Anywhere.
And
Yeah.
like then their kids got a little older. They're like,
Sure.
oh, we can be a band again. We can go on the road again. And like they
We've
had
all
that
been
comeback
there.
record. I was like, they're so
Yeah.
great.
Yep.
I try to make it a point to see them when they come to Boston. Like they're just so good.
Not in the hardcore sense, but REM did that for me.
I love
Like
REM.
when
Oh,
you
God.
listen to like some of their original song, like their original shit, and you go see them, and they're on stage and they're doing all the shit. Like they're running around, they're doing their thing, and fucking he is on point. He doesn't miss a
And,
fucking
yeah,
note.
I never saw
crazy.
them, and it's one of those like regrets that I have. But it's like I love that band, and like Michael Stipe is one of my favorite singers. He's just has this like such a unique voice.
And he can. It doesn't matter what he's doing. It
No.
sounds like him all the time.
No, he's so great, and like
Typo Negative was like that too. I saw Typo Negative with Coal Chamber, and it was one of the most amazing shows I've ever seen in my life.
was he playing his bass with a bottle of red wine?
Probably
So
had a
I saw
bottle of
them
red
at
wine.
Lupo's
Yeah.
in 07.
Yeah, that's probably the same show.
Yeah.
It was with Coal Chamber, right?
I
No,
saw
it was
them
before
with,
that. It's probably like 04 or 05
Yeah,
because
I
I
saw-
graduated 03, so it's probably like 04.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget who they were playing with, but
It was definitely Lupo's where I saw them.
Oh, it was
though.
at Lupo's, and
Yeah.
he had his like bass amp in like this rack. He had his whole rack system next to him.
Yeah.
He had like a giant bottle of red wine.
So
But look
that
how-
was the Life is Killing Me tour, probably.
I saw them at the Dead Again.
But that
tour.
shit looked like
Okay.
a beer bottle in his hand because he's a monster of a human being.
Oh yeah, and so he would just like grab. He would just grab the red wine. He just just like playing the
Like
bass,
one of those
hitting the-
slides on the
no,
old
no,
hillbilly
just, like,
guitars.
hitting
Yeah.
the strings,
Oh shit.
using it like a pick, just like hitting the strings with it and stuff.
Yeah, see, the one that I saw them at, they weren't even headlining. I think Coal Chamber was technically headlining, which was
If it was
ridiculous.
like early aughts, yeah. Well, I mean that was like when new metal was big.
Yeah, that was
band.
the time. Exactly. It was
Just the
like
style
it
of
was
the
like when
time.
Big Truck just came out or
God.
something.
Well, this is one of the ones I saw. I saw Korn and Seven Dust at Lupo's.
Yeah.
And when Seven Dust opened for Korn, LeJean was singing, and he stopped singing, but the vocals were still going. I'm like, wow, this guy's a fucking hack.
Ah, damn.
No, it was fucking Morgan.
was
It was
Morgan
the
doing the
drumming
backing
singing,
vo- 'cause he
which
does
I
all
didn't
the-
know he sang. Then I
He
looked
does
and he
all
had the
those-
fucking ear
'cause
mic, and
he-
he's singing while he's playing. I'm like, oh
He's-
shit, these
yeah,
guys are fucking.
He's doing all those
legit.
backing vocals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For that new metal era, like which is largely a lot of it hasn't held up, and I'm not like the biggest fan of them, but like Seven Dust is like objectively a very good band, and like and that dude, like LeJean is a fantastic singer.
Yeah,
He's
and
so
he
good.
when he was singing, it was great. But when he stopped, I was like, oh, I thought
You thought it was
he
the
was
thing.
singing,
Nah,
and then
the other guy.
I was.
It sounds so full and he's not breathing.
So I was because remember how it was so small and you could stand just to the right side of the stage in that little pocket. So
That
I
was
was
such a
standing
weird shape
next
room
to
in
the
the
drum
old
kit.
Lupos.
The
Yeah.
old Lupos?
Yeah, oh yeah.
yeah.
This is the original, like near the Met Cafe and all
Oh,
that.
yeah.
when they were connected.
Yeah. So I'm standing in that pocket, and I'm standing next to the drummer, looking at the bar and kind of looking at LeJean, and I'm like, oh, he stopped singing. I realized, oh fuck, he's
Yeah.
singing. Like he's in there.
Got like the little Britney Spears mic.
Yeah. Yep.
So speaking of touring, what's the plan now that the record's out? Do you guys have some shows planned or?
Yeah, we got a little run in March.
Yeah.
Don't go straight. Take a right.
Yeah, don't
Don't open the
do
door
it.
that says
Don't
"Don't
open.
open alarm will sound."
Just before
so
that door on the
fucking
right.
sorry.
It's
That's all
okay.
right. It happens.
We know that
You're
guy.
not the
It's
first
okay.
one.
Yeah, we've got a run in March. We're gonna play Maine, Montreal, Malden, and Providence.
Hell yeah.
In the middle of March, and then
We're in Providence.
we're playing AS 220
All right.
Nice. I love
Yeah.
that venue.
with a bunch of punk bands. It's gonna
Don't
be
bring a smoke machine. It sets the fire alarms off. Just saying.
Yeah.
noted.
Yeah.
It's a matinee. Come out. It's the 16th of March.
Nice. The
and
Ides
then-
of March.
We've got a couple shows in like April and May. Some of them we haven't announced yet. And then we're doing a tour in Canada.
We want the exclusive.
We're doing a tour in Canada in June because Thousand Island Records have been super good to us and helped us.
And they're out of Canada.
Yeah, they're out of Canada. So we're gonna go up there and do a little like 5-day rip up in Quebec. And
Yeah, so that March show, it's the call outs, Oh the Humanity, Structure Sounds, Follow Through.
Yep.
AS220, 3 p.m.
Thank you.
Is it Sunday?
Yeah, it's Sunday. Yeah. So we're doing
Yep.
4 shows.
Go to church, go to the show afterwards.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we
Sure,
got
that's what we'll do.
we got a bunch of other shit. We can't talk about some of it, but I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And but yeah, we're gonna play all over the fucking place this year.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it's still winter, and so we're not gonna play a bunch right now because
Because it's
people
cold.
people like to stay at home in winter, and shows get snowed out in winter. So we're gonna do that little rip to celebrate, and then play a bunch in the summer and the fall.
Yep. So March 13th is the first one up in Biddleford at Mulligan's.
Yep. Biddo.
Yeah. Then Turbo Haas in Montreal, Faces Brewing in Malden, and then March 16th at AS220. We will share that
down the
flyer
road.
as well.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Right around the corner.
Yeah, not far from me.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. That Malden show is with that's like the release party, and it's with like all our friends. Little Low, some of our best buds, great band. They've got a new record. They're recording now, or it's already recording. That's being mixed.
They did an EP, and then I think
They're turning it into a full length.
I think so.
Yeah.
Last I talked to Christine, I think that's what she said. They were gonna like do another grip of songs and just make it one thing.
Yep, they're recording with Trev too, and then Sky Tiger is one of our favorite Massachusetts bands, like thrashy, aggressive, just
absolute shredders.
awesome fucking
heard of
band.
them.
Sky Tigers, they're fantastic.
Unbelievable. Their full length is unbelievable. And
Check
then
that out.
One Fall, a band that's basically our sibling band. We toured England with them last year. Kyle's partner is the singer of that band. We love them to death. One of the best bands in Massachusetts. Not even close.
I'm currently mixing their new E EP.
Yeah,
Nice.
that show's going to be an absolute banger. Yeah, we're stoked.
That's
Everyone-
March 15th, Faces Brewing in Malden.
Yep. Every one of those shows is with.
You know, I love a brewery show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Have you've been to Faces?
No.
It's
No?
awesome. Oh, it's
Awesome.
fantastic.
Yeah, Ryan, who used to run Obies, he used to book all the shows at Obies.
yeah.
That's his spot now. So
Oh,
he,
sick.
he books all the shows that go through there. And Ryan's been riding with us since day one. He's such a sweetheart, and he cares so much about the Boston music scene. And
I don't want to take anything away from Widowmaker, but man, I'm loving all these brewery shows. What's the other thing I just saw? The Beer and Records thing? You guys see that yet?
No,
I'm going to pull it up right now because I want to see if it's people you guys know. It might be.
maybe.
There's a.
If you go to that show, you got to get there early because the food is dope as hell.
Oh, okay.
Get yourself a good dinner.
All right, so dinner service ends before the show.
No, it still goes on, but you want to be in when the
You're
show
not
Yeah.
gonna eat a buffalo chicken sandwich while Sky Tigers is shredding.
You don't know what I'm capable of. Yeah, there's this page that popped up that I saw called Beer and Records.
What is this?
And it's like,
Oh, Beowulf. Yeah, up in Amesbury.
yeah, so they do, it's basically like a record, sharing
Yeah.
page,
Oh,
but then
cool.
they're doing a show and a beer collab, and it's at a brewery at Beowulf.
Yeah, we've had some friends who play. We've talked about, Jim has talked to us about like getting up there and doing a thing. We've talked to a few bands about,
Yeah, we are long
play it up
overdue
there.
to play there.
But yeah, they got some merch. They got a collab beer with that brewery, and there's a release show for the beer.
it's funny because I grew up, like I said, I grew up in Haverhill, and Amesbury's right down the road. And like growing up, like Merrimack, Amesbury, it was like these little quiet towns with like not much happening. And now that I'm older and it's just like, oh, cool.
Now
all
shit's
these
popping
little,
off.
all these little tiny towns. Cause like no one can afford to live in Boston anymore. so
Exactly.
everyone's going back to like their hometowns.
Yeah, they're
And
going
it's,
back to the house their mom left them because that's all they can afford to live
yeah,
in.
but it's like, oh, now all this cool shit is opening up in like these small towns. Like Lowell's got some great venues. Haverhill's got some cool stuff. Like
Yeah.
Amesbury's cool. It's like,
Yeah, I
oh,
saw
all
like
these
even
little
like
tiny towns it's pretty rad now.
when Edict was on a couple weeks ago, we were talking about Lawrence, and then I started like following a page, a guy that's booking shows in Lawrence, and like there's so many good
Used
shows
to
in
go to
Lawrence
that-
now.
Used to go to shows at that
Just
nights
gotta-
at Columbus.
Yeah, and I'm like, I've never even
Lawrence nights
heard
at
of
Columbus.
Lawrence.
Oh yeah.
And now there's like
hide
tons
your
of good
gear
shows.
because they'll take it while you're playing. You're like playing all this and there's no sound. The cab's going like, what the fuck just happened?
No, I
It's
think
not
it's
that bad anymore. It's not like that. No. more.
No, come on.
Western Western
no,
Mass.
all
That
right.
Colin, the guitarist from Dying For It, had his fucking like gothic series Les Paul stolen from a show. It was a real bad time. I know we talked about it before, but for Paul's benefit here, what venues or towns did you play in England again?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Paul.
We played.
I'm opening up.
Well, let me try
from.
from memory.
Okay.
We played the Library in Oxford, which was
Yup.
like a basement venue below a bar. It held like 50 people. It was fucking the
best kind.
The perfect way to kick off a tour in a country you've never played a show in.
Yep.
And
How receptive were they to the music? I've obviously there's a
Very.
punk.
it was awesome.
That's a punk. Like they invented punk, so like
was-
I'm sure they were into it.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Like every show was a fucking blast. It was fucking. It couldn't have gone better.
I was real pumped for this episode because Mark especially, like we've had so many bands on, and Mark's like, I love this music, but like I can't get behind the vocals. I'm like, Mark,
Yeah.
you're gonna like this band because you can hear what he's
Yeah,
saying.
I actually listened to you guys all day at work.
Oh, thanks,
Yeah.
man. Thank you.
And I actually have a message from while you pull that up, I'll read this really
I got
quick.
it, I
You
got
got
it.
it. You got it.
Signature Brew in London,
in
Okay.
Haggerston, London.
and then Lady Luck in Canterbury,
Yep.
and then the Purple Turtle in
Purple
Reading.
Turtle
Purple
in
Turtle.
Reading. Yep.
Yeah.
We had a day off in Nottingham.
No, oh, and then the whatever that place was in Nottingham,
Rough Trade.
Rough Trade in Nottingham, the place in Bradford,
Underground.
the Underground in Bradford. Now I just know the cities.
Yeah.
Yep.
Birmingham.
The Flapper in Birmingham.
Birmingham.
That's when we showed
God,
up.
they have such better names for
Oh,
everything.
they really
don't they?
do. That's when we showed up,
Fucking names
and there
are
was this guy
amazing.
sitting. That's when we showed up to the Flapper in Birmingham, and this guy who like looked kind of official. He was just like hanging out, and we were like, where do we load in for like the shows? And he goes, I don't know. I just drink here. And then he was still there. He was still there after the show. He was like, you boys make a lot of noise.
That's awesome.
True story.
I love
And then
all
last
of that.
show,
Was at the Pipeline in Brighton, and that show was a fucking ripper. Like, you could not have fit another human being in this tiny little room. It was on the second floor of this little bar, and it felt illegal how many people they crammed into this place, and it was
It probably
well,
was.
especially it was one of those things where I was like, I remember the station. And
Yeah.
this could easily turn into a station night.
Oh, the station fire?
In
Oh,
real
yeah,
goddamn
yeah.
quick.
It was
one of those like this could turn in. This,
Oh yeah, Paul Flapper and Firkin, my old
funny
spot.
thing, the week we were out there, it was it the Euros or something like?
Yeah, so we were
the Euros
conflicting
were
with
going on.
England being in the Euros. So there was a couple times where we were competing
I
against.
don't know what that is.
So
Soccer
their
tournament?
their
Yeah,
big
football
soccer tournament.
Oh,
It's a-
Paul will know
So
what
when
that
we
is.
were in Birmingham, they were playing, and I think they won that night, and like the whole.
when we were in Canterbury, they were playing.
When in Canterbury they won in Canterbury,
Yeah.
All right.
and then when we were in Birmingham they were playing as well, and it was
Yeah.
just an
This-
absolute shit show.
This might not be new knowledge to you, but this is mind blowing to me. So I was visiting Paul. Paul and my friend Anna live in West Virginia. They're great friends of ours, and I get down there whenever I can. And it happened to be a weekend that Paul's soccer team, football team, was playing some
Paul,
important
what's your
game.
what club do you support?
Yeah, Paul.
Come
What's
on,
your
Paul.
what's your team, Paul?
Paul
And,
from West Virginia.
yeah, what's your team? I don't
He's got to
remember.
be a Manchester United guy.
But so he was explaining
If
to
he's
me
from
like
Birmingham, if Flappers, Flappers Brighton, so I don't know.
he was explaining to me why it's a big deal, and basically the way he explained it to me in like layman's terms was like, imagine if the Red Sox lost a game and they were demoted to the minor
yeah.
leagues. That's what happens.
yeah.
With their football, if you lose the series, You get fucking demoted
You
to
know
the
how I now
peasant
understand
spec
By the
league.
way, is how
Ted
it should,
Lasso is
which
the reason I
how-
understand
Which is,
all
by the
that.
way, how it should
Great
be.
show.
Which
Great
is
show.
how
Great show.
it should be.
Yeah.
Because then you won't have, oh, he's a Southampton guy.
Southampton.
Hell yeah. I'm a Notts County supporter because the guitar player in Helen's band One Fall is a Notts County supporter. So I've sort of, and they're in tier 4. They're in League 2. So they're not great, but they're like rivals with Wrexham, that team in Wales that has like the
That's
TV
the
show
one
about
that
them.
what's his name?
guy
Ryan
from-
Reynolds and the
yeah,
guy
the guy
from
from It's Always Sunny, they all-
owns.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
They came
so-
from 0 to 100, like that
Yes.
team.
It was the championship playoff final, which we won. That's when
Yeah.
I was there visiting. But yeah, he was explaining to me like, if we were to lose this game, like we would be demoted essentially.
Yeah, they don't demote like the quarterback or the pitcher. They demote the entire fucking league. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
it's-
yeah.
You're
The whole
just
team.
done. Yeah.
Which I think is like pretty awesome because then you don't have like you don't have like the Jets who are just perennially shitty.
Oh, yeah.
It's like there's like the whole like the thing, you know, in like the NFL, like remember like the Indianapolis Colts, like when Peyton Manning was out and
Yeah.
they were like the suck for luck thing. Like we are going to purposely be the worst team so we can get number like that
Yeah.
shit don't happen because like I mean there they have like the sort of local like the local farm rules and stuff. You can get local, but it's just
It's
like
a good thing you know what you're talking about because I sure as
it's
hell don't.
fucking fast. I have been to one Premier League match my entire life, and it was April of 2022, and it was Southampton versus Arsenal. So Helen and I were over in England, and we were just over there on vacation, and a Wilhelm Scream was playing Southampton, so we're like, fuck it, let's take the train from London to Southampton. We'll go see them. Also, Southampton's playing Arsenal the next day.
It's a hell of a weekend.
It was a great time. And Southampton was at that point like one of, I believe, the worst teams in the Premier League. They were like towards the bottom, and Arsenal's like perennially very good. And Southampton won. And it was like,
shit.
and we got tickets, and we were sitting with the Southampton fan, and everyone's losing their shit. And I was like, it was the most fun sporting event, with the exception of like, I went to a Bruins Canadians game one time in like 2011. It was like fight night at the Garden. It was like 200 penalty minutes. It was when Tim Thomas and Carey Price fought.
I was
each other.
there.
Yeah, I was fucking last row at the Garden. Tim,
Yep.
like that was, with the exception of that game. Yes, Joiners. That's where I saw Wilhelm the night before. And so it was, with the exception of that Bruins Canadians game, it was the most fun sporting event I've ever been to. Like it's a different level of like fandom and just
Those
it's a-
bitches be nuts.
They got songs?
It's fucking wild.
They're like, well, we're gonna sing the songs, and I was like, you guys they have songs, and everyone knows all the songs. And there's many songs, and then like
They teach those first in school,
all
and
the
then you
Arsenal-
learn the
all
rest of the
Arsenal
stuff.
supporters, like there's like a section in every stadium for the fans of the support of the visiting
I'd like to trade
team.
that in.
So all the Arsenal supporters are in their own section.
You're running
and
low,
They're
bro.
singing Arsenal songs, and then the Southampton fans are singing the Southampton songs. And I'm like, this is great. I would go to this every weekend if I lived over here. It's like, it's a fun time.
You can see how it would be addictive.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's a good time. If you're ever over there, just go. It doesn't even matter who the teams are. Just go to a match. It's fun. It's
I stayed
fun.
in Barcelona, and we happened to be right next to the football field there.
Yeah.
And there was a game. It was fucking crazy. People were climbing the poles
insane.
and shit.
Like the town shuts down.
It felt like I was at an Eagles game.
It has to. Like, there's
Yeah.
you can't move.
It's so great.
Yeah.
I love it.
So Corey.si from the Revival Motoring podcast. He is a musical influencer as far as I'm concerned. He is into all sorts of cool stuff. And
He's the only one holding down the hardcore nonsense on the Revival podcast.
yeah, well, he gets into the weeds with it, man.
Yeah.
Me and Corey have a lot of similar music tastes. He's the one we had a snake guy on, not even a music episode, a guy that bred snakes, and he was wearing the Bane shirt that was like a Michael Jordan jersey.
Yep.
And literally, I posted a picture of a snake, and like a 1-inch corner of this shirt was in the frame. And he was like, "Is that the Michael Jordan Bane shirt?" And I'm like, "Damn,
Fucking
that's
nailed it.
fucking creepy and awesome." But yeah, no, he replied to the story I posted of you guys coming on with the song, and he said, "Been listening to them for the past few hours. I'm now a big fan. Had no clue who they were a few hours ago." So that's
Fuck
all.
yeah.
So yeah,
Welcome.
this
Thank you,
is
brother.
That is exactly the point of, if you like something, it takes 2 seconds to share it. And it's not, don't put it on your main profile or whatever. Share shit on your stories, and people will see it. And you know what? If 100 people see it and 2 are like, wow, that's cool, I'm going to check it out, that helps that person.
Fuck yeah.
That helps that business, that helps that band, that helps that podcast. It takes 2 seconds to support your friends, or even if it's not your friend, it's somebody you've never met. If you see something that's fucking cool, just share it. It doesn't
People doing
hurt.
good things.
Yeah, we just want I just want people to listen to, we put a lot of time and effort and like a lot of just arguments and sleepless nights and just waking up and being like, what if this isn't good enough? Like I put a lot of just stuff into this record. I know all 5 of us did. And it's just like, I just want people to hear it. And like, I want it to hit, if it hits somebody half as hard as it like hits me when I listen to it, then I'm
That's a
fine
win.
with it. I just want people to, and if you don't like it, whatever, like, I'm glad you checked it out. And
Yeah.
It's not for everyone, but like, I
Now-
hope it,
The preference is that you listen to it on Tidal.
no,
Or actually, the preference is that you buy the record.
Buy the
Yeah, buy the
record.
record. Yeah.
Listen
Well, they're
to it-
sold the
the
fuck out
record.
in the U.S., so good luck.
Listen to it on that sweet, sweet vinyl as God intended.
Listen to it on the vinyl. If you don't have the vinyl, listen to it on Tidal, then Apple
Bandcamp is
Music,
fine.
then Amazon, then Spotify last. That's the last place you should
Check
listen to it.
LimeWire first,
Yeah.
and then go to Spotify.
I don't care where you listen to it.
Just listen to it.
Someone listen.
Well, just fucking listen to it.
Please buy our product.
Listen to it. Come to the show. Pay for a ticket. Buy a T-shirt. Right.
Come to a show.
Buy the
So
merch.
the best place people can find you guys is what's your preferred method? Is it just at the Humanity MA on Instagram, and then they can hit the link tree from there?
If you go to othehumanity.band,
othehumanity.band.
that is basically the link tree.
Okay.
It'll give you everything, and we're always like updating that stuff.
Yep.
Sweet.
Say what's up on IG.
Is there anything else specific that I missed that you want to hit?
I had a question.
Go.
Sorry. This is going way back, but like, so you guys started in 2012, right?
Yep.
We've had a lot of bands in here, and everyone in all the bands we've had in here has somehow played with someone else from a different band and a different band and whatever. What's your lineup change been like? Have you guys stayed pretty consistent? Obviously, you theoretically
that's
joined a
the
few
only
years
That's
ago.
the only one.
That's it.
So we've been
Pretty impressive for that amount of time.
I was gonna say that's a lot of years with the same people.
And now, is anybody in the band playing in other bands at the same time?
Yes. Yeah. So Jim plays in a band called Hive Smasher.
Oh no, shit! You know a guy from that band
So
too.
the other kid who's my next door neighbor's son, Matt Pont, played drums in Hive Smasher
Oh,
years ago.
okay.
Oh yeah,
There you go.
Hive Smash has had a million members.
They,
Yeah.
Now that band has had some lineup changes.
Yeah. He's like, I played from like March of 2010 to
That was
April
like-
of 2011, whatever.
That was like when we had Eric on. Our friend Eric Gross, that was on the show, works for Vic Firth and the
Zildjian.
Symbol and Zildjian, yeah. And he was in like Painted Black and
Oh,
a few,
cool.
yeah,
Yep.
like
That
a few
band
other
rules.
bands, but like just like these short stints of bands that
Yeah.
had 9 million
Yeah.
members.
Well, the
he
drummer
was in
for-
Vanna he was in Vanna for like an album or something.
The drummer from Hive Smasher, Tim, is a good friend of ours. He was the guy that convinced Kevin that he was going to be the singer.
Yes, he was in that ska band, and he
Oh.
also toured with us in England.
Our drummer wasn't able to make it.
Yeah.
He wasn't able to do the tour. So Tim came through and filled in for us. So like, and then he is in a band with myself and Jim, one of our guitar players, called Valanis. That's more of like a grindy sort of band.
Cool.
So I mean, that band's not like super active, but we get together whenever, kind
Yeah.
of a thing.
Grind bands can just never do anything and then like put out a 4-song EP and it's fine.
Yeah.
That's
You've
what,
been working on that EP for
I just haven't touched it in forever.
long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. I wouldn't say working on it. I just kind of,
it's just there.
it just exists.
Yep.
Yeah,
Love it.
We're the same
Yeah,
guys.
my next door neighbor is a drummer, and he's been a drummer for his whole life. And his son, obviously, he's played in those bands. But my neighbor is the one who bought my son his first drum kit at 5 years
cool.
old. He bought him
That's
a little
awesome.
$99 fucking little kit with a bass drum and a couple of toms.
That
and
rules.
That's really what got
What
him
do you
going.
need, man?
Hell yeah, that's the good shit.
Andrew's going to be in a shitty hardcore band before
I
we know
hope
it.
so.
I can't
God, I
wait.
hope so. That is my dream. I would love to go see that kid play in a shitty hardcore band somewhere.
Me too.
I mean,
He's
it's
gonna
like-
be in a shitty emo band because he leans less towards the like harder shit. He likes to listen to it, but he plays
Probably the vocals.
more
What
of
do
the
you
other
think?
stuff.
as long as he's doing something that like he's passionate
It's
about.
got to be shitty.
Yeah.
That's the only
fucking
rule.
cares?
Oh, absolutely not,
Everyone's first band, I look back at my like high school band and I was like, we
dude.
fucking
Think
suck.
about the guy who plays like drums behind Britney Spears. That guy's getting paid fucking a lot of money
Yeah.
to just zone out and tap along. Fuck
would.
it. If that's what he does for a living, God bless him.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody
It's like, oh,
recently
I
that's
bought-
like, oh yeah, like my buddy's the guitar tech for fucking like Sabrina Carpenter or something. And
Perfect.
It's like,
Great.
An amazing job.
Yeah, it's like that thing of like, oh, like what's it like playing? Like, yeah, like being the drummer for Britney Spears. Like, well, I own a home, so
I
So
own
that's pretty
several
sick.
homes.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're paying your bills with music. I'm not doing that.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not paying my bills with
Yeah.
this. I'd love to, but like, who cares?
My daughter has started putting on band shows at home.
Oh,
so
nice.
she's writing a set list and then she's improvising songs. And I'm making an effort to not push her in that direction whatsoever.
wanna
if
push
she-
it.
if
We
she-
did
if
the
she
same
wa-
thing
if she
because he
wants
took
to go
like
there,
4 years
then that's
off where he
cool.
never touched a drumstick.
if you do push it, that'll fuck it up.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She came to a show. It's the first. So she's known I've been in a band and been playing whatever. And she came to a show at Faces, the
Yep.
place we're playing in March. And it was a birthday celebration for our buddy's dad, Stan, who's like supports all of us, and he's like an awesome dude. And like at first she was like standing off to the side, and then she like got up front, and then she was 4 at the time, and then she's like on stage like grabbing my leg, like jumping around. I'm like, oh no, she's got the same thing I do. She is me. And now she's like at home, and she's got this ukulele, and she's got this microphone karaoke thing, and she puts it on props it up on something, and she's like, everyone sit down, we're having a show now. And she turns off all the lights in the house, and she's like, this song is called I Want to Hug a Chameleon. Not a joke. That is one of them. And she's just like, we're just sitting
It's
there.
not a bad name.
Song
Yeah.
sounds dope.
It's catchy.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's like, yeah, like do it.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do, then do it and have a great time and like whatever. But I'm making an effort to not be like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
You
encourage,
should
but you don't.
Just, I'm not
force.
musical at all. Look, I love music, but I am not musical. My wife's not musical. We don't have any of that shit in our bodies.
You could be in a band
My
like
daughter-
Restrictor Plate though.
My daughter is going to be 18, but she has done all of the plays in her school since 7th grade, musical theater. She sings.
That's awesome.
That's
She sings
awesome.
pretty well. Like, she's not the lead, but she's like the third lead. Like, she's always up there, right?
She could be the
She
lead
has
in a punk rock band.
No fucking fear. She
take my job.
I was gonna say, is she enjoying herself?
She loves it.
Then
they
good.
did literally did a talent show in November where my son drummed, she sang, and they had a friend of theirs play guitar, and they played 3 songs in front of the school. Like,
wow.
my wife and I both like, who are these children? I would never get on stage. My wife would never get on stage for any reason.
I would
amazing.
never.
I barely made it across the graduation
Yeah.
thing and ran. Like,
I'll never
What's a
forget like my
stand
first
up there?
the first show I ever played. I was like 7.
That's a great question. What was the first thing you did on stage in front of people?
My band, my high school band, we like there was this venue right up the road in Plastow, New Hampshire called the Sad Cafe that everyone's
Shout
fucking
out.
high school band
Plastow.
played. And,
Shouts to the Sad Cafe.
and it was one of those like it was a Monday. It was like a Monday, and some other friends' bands were like, "Oh, do you guys want to play on Friday?" And we're just like, "Yeah, I think we're ready." And I remember like loading my stuff, and I was like, I think my dad still has like the Super 8 VHS video somewhere at their house. I was like shitting bricks, and then it was one of those things where I like halfway through that first or second song, I was just like, no, we're locked in. This is what I do now. Like, it was just one of those, like, I don't know if I can do this. Oh, whatever. And you just start and you're like, nope, I do this
Oh, boy.
forever. I've ruined my life now because this is all I ever want to do. And it's just like,
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm going on this. I'm going here now. Like, where it's like, I wanted to be an architect and I wanted to blah, blah, blah. It's like, nope.
Nope.
I'm just like, you know,
I'm gonna be a starving artist.
Music is my life.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna play sweaty DIY basement shows in my late 30s, and it's cool.
Now you went
Whatever.
from music to college. Were you playing before that in high school and stuff?
Yeah, I did. The only reason I played music in college is because I didn't want to go to college, and my parents were like, "You have to." And I was like, "Well, if I'm going to go,
Well, that's our generation because you're almost 40 as well.
Yeah.
Only dumb kids don't go to college.
Right.
Meanwhile, in my job after going to college, I'm supporting people making twice as much as me that went to Vogue.
I mean, I
Yeah.
literally use 0 of the things I learned in college in my job.
Yeah, same.
But you know, whatever. I guess I learned how to human.
Yeah, my bachelor's
guess.
degree is toilet paper. yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just like, I mean, it was like, okay, I have to go to get a 4-year degree, and I'm gonna try to not drop out. So I guess I'll do music because it's the only thing I don't hate. And then you know what? I grew to hate it.
Yeah.
and now I don't play.
It's funny
trumpet
how when you're
anymore.
forced to
That's
do
why I
something, you're like,
dropped-
I really don't want to do it anymore.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
why I dropped out of UMass Lowell, because I went to UMass Lowell for jazz bass performance, and it was that point where I was like, I hated playing bass. I was like, oh, the thing I love to do more than anything,
Just
I
made
don't
me
like
hate it.
doing. Dropped out, went to a different college just for like, to like recording and stuff, and like. But it was that thing, like, I went to college because I didn't know what else I wanted to do. And it was like, well, I can go to school for music. Didn't get into Berkeley, so went to, didn't get a scholarship to Berkeley. And I was like, that's so expensive. I don't want to.
See, well,
The
nobody
way,
can afford
the way
that
my
for
bank
real.
account's set up,
Yeah.
without a scholarship, I'm not
At that point,
going
like
there.
20 years
Some of
ago.
the charities I work with are going to take a hit,
know.
but yeah.
But it's that same thing. Like, yeah, we went to college because that's what we
were told.
We were told to. And then it's the same generation who told us to go to college is now like, we should go to college if you didn't want all those student loans.
Yeah,
like,
if you couldn't
fucking
afford it,
told
you
me to
should
go to
go.
college.
Yeah.
me
I was
go.
doing what I thought I was supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly.
College isn't free, you know.
Well,
I didn't want to go
I
at
didn't-
all.
I did not want to go. I would have gone to Vogue.
Yeah.
I would have gone to
I
Whittier Vogue.
begged to go to Vogue, but only
Wanted to
kids
go
who
to
couldn't get into college
wanted
went
to
to
do
Vogue.
electrical trade.
Same. I wanted to go for auto or electrical.
It's like, no, you have to go to college.
Yep.
Why? Could have
Yep.
been in a union at 21.
Exactly. Making $100 grand.
Seriously, to start.
Yep.
Not to start, but after 4 years.
So
Well,
what?
whatever.
So in high school, were you playing in front of people at that point, or not yet?
Yeah, like I did the normal like being in band stuff, and then I was in like a ska core band in high school, and then like I was doing like the high school talent show bullshit before that. But like I got the bug for playing shows in high school with my high school bands, and but didn't do any like touring until college. And then once I actually like hit the road for any amount of time, I was like, oh, this is
it.
This is what I want to do. And
Yep.
because like I like making records, I love that people are listening to it, and I love making art with my friends. But the juice for me is playing. Like that
was for me too.
that's
You
like,
can't replicate it.
man, it's the best.
Yep. It's the adrenaline rush from playing in front of a room of people is just unexplainable, irreplaceable.
It's
And
like you
just the whole build up, the whole thing. Like you spend all day getting there,
Yep.
and then you set
Yeah.
up, and then
That
and then-
drive
and
there and
then-
loading the equipment
for
in.
30
Yeah.
minutes
Yep.
of bliss, and then it's over.
You
and it's
can't
just
take
like,
it home with you.
Yeah,
It's
no.
not like work where like you take work home with you. You can't take that home with you.
No.
You're just like, what?
Why
what did
can't
we-
you take the good times home?
what-
Like,
I-
is that
well,
a weird?
No,
that's
you
a
can
weird
take,
thing.
You can take the good times home, but it's like the thing about live stuff is like mistakes happen, but that mistake is gone now. That mistake's not like sitting on a spreadsheet or an email or something. Like that mistake is getting
Yeah.
further away.
That's
so
fair.
you got to move on from that.
well, that group of people in that space
Yes.
at that time,
You are
will never
absor-
happen again.
Also
Well,
didn't know that
you're-
you had
I
made a
can already
mistake.
tell though. You have
They
that
also don't know that
personality
you
where
made a
you're
mistake.
absorbing that crowd energy from the room, and you can't replicate that at a great practice when it's just the five of you in that room. You're not getting that same
would you-
feed up that you're getting in a live performance. You're
Would,
not.
would you say every show is different then?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
1,000%.
The,
And like
the day every show starts being the same is the day I stop doing this.
And
Because
like-
then
Yeah.
it gets boring and routine.
yeah,
And
Right.
it's like, I mean, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
there's a lot of like,
And
tour
you-
can be pretty mundane because it's just like for the most part you're in a van. And
Yeah,
it gets very monotonous.
and you don't want to say like a small show with only 20 people is bad, because sometimes
It's-
that room of 20 people are the
Those 20
most pumped
they
20
still-
people
yeah.
to see you.
They still
Totally.
paid $10 to come see you play.
Yep.
So it's like,
Yeah.
well,
And sometimes
I'm not
the
gonna
energy
time
of
that
those
shit.
20 people is better than the energy of 50
totally. Yeah, and like I'm
or
really
100. Yeah.
I'm really bad at being present in general in my life. So like when we do this with the band, it's probably the only time that I'm like completely, unless I'm like, I'm going to be present right now and I'm going to absorb this moment and try to
Yeah.
try to remember it. No, really. I mean, I'm really bad. I'm always thinking about like, what is tomorrow? What do we have to worry about next week? Whatever. It's just like how I
Yeah.
am. But like when we play, I'm completely 100% in the moment. And like, it is,
this
It's
is,
the only
I
moment
love
you
it.
can focus on.
I love
yeah.
it. I love it.
on tour it's cool because like you do get that little bit of like you can sort of like when it's a local show you're going home by yourself, but like on tour it's good because like you're in the van with
You
like,
don't have to go home to your day job. or
yeah
to
like
your family
you're in the van with your
afterwards
bandmates and you
yeah.
can kind of you've had a good show and
You
like,
can
you're-
unpack it.
You're driving an hour outside of town to the hotel and you can sort of have that. You can like talk shit and you can be like, oh, what, it's like, oh, that thing you did during that song was pretty cool, and you get to like sort of unwind and sort of have like your post show report of
And
like,
you can kind of stay in a different mindset when you're not going home to real life after that show, and you're going to go sleep in a hotel with your buddies, and then you're going to go to another show the next day. It's a different different thing than playing just a Friday and then not playing for 2 weeks.
it's just fun.
Yep.
It is good fun. That's
Yeah,
a
it must be
fucking
hard. Yeah,
fact.
you turn on the home vibe, dad, husband, partner, whatever you're going on at home, you turn that on, then you turn the band thing on, then you turn that back on, you turn that back on.
You can ask him. The second I step out of the van, my daughter is standing there, and I am like, I'm right
Back
back
to dad mode, yeah.
But that's the deal, though. Like that's the
course.
trade-off. Is like when I'm home,
But you still get to do the fun thing.
I'm 100% home.
Of course,
And then when I step into the van, I'm doing that, and like that's the trade-off.
He's like, oh, I'm stepping in the van to be a degenerate with my friends for 2 weeks. I'll see ya. And then you're like, oh, I'm the responsible.
There's no showing up tired or hungover or not ready. It's like, okay, I'm back, and I'm 100% back in this.
I have like my own routine when I get home from tour. It's like, because I live right in downtown Salem, so it's like the day after I don't work, I get up, I go to like the same coffee shop, I get breakfast at the same like I have like my sort of decompress
go to
routine.
the Witches Museum and then
I live right next to the Witch Museum. I've never been there.
we were there a couple summers ago. It was a good
Were
time.
you? Yeah, it's literally around. It's like right, like a block away from my house.
That's hilarious.
I walk by it whenever I go downtown. But it's like when I get home from tour, it's that thing of like, all right, I get up the next day. If my help my stepson get breakfast and stuff, and his mom takes him to school, and then I go to like the coffee shop I go to the breakfast restaurant I go to, and I'm just like, I have my nice little like, my decompress.
Chill day.
Like, I'm home. I'm
I need
back.
24 hours to readjust.
I'm refamiliarizing myself
Sure.
with my town right now. It's like,
That's funny.
it's nice.
You want to play us out with one of the songs off the new record instead of our outro music?
Sure.
What one do you guys want?
You pick, Kyle.
Oh, I can't. No, you put
Circumstances.
circumstances.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's pull it up right now. Let's see. I'm definitely playing it on Tidal. If anyone's
Thanks for having us, guys. This was
yeah,
so much
dude,
fun.
thanks so
Right
much.
now, yeah.
We got Kyle and Kevin, Oh the Humanity. You can check out ohthehumanity.band. You can check out at Oh the Humanity MA on Instagram. There's all the gigs mid-March. There's 4 local-ish, and there's more on the way. I tried to get the announcement. They wouldn't give me the early deets. But we'll share them when they post them.
There's
By
some
the way,
festivals
before we
in
go-
places where punk people would go to festivals and see
to
bands
do
that
punk
maybe
things.
we're playing some of those.
Hell yeah.
Oh, by the way, before we go, which one's
Yeah.
Kevin? Which one's Kyle?
Kyle, Kevin. I got it. Kyle's obviously the one closest to the camera.
Close to the camera.
Because
But I've been
I want to
I've
make
been
sure the
leaning back this whole
listeners-
time, and like I've just realized it's like, I've not been in the view of the camera the whole time.
I just
So
want to
leaning
make
back.
sure that the listeners know that Kyle is the one closest to the camera that's
Yep.
probably been out of the frame.
Shout out to Paul. Joiners fucking rules.
Yeah, Paul's the best. Shout out to Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
They all got their talent from
They
me,
did
not
not.
Ryan.
That's my wife. She did not give them any of the
I
musical
figured
talent.
as much.
That's Ryan, that's Ryan's laugh track. It's the best. We're gonna play us out with Circumstances from the new record, Ground to Dust. Check it out wherever you stream music. And thanks so much, guys, for coming in.
Thanks, boys.
We hope to get some updates from you soon. See ya.
Thank you.
Is it working? There you go.